we can just go back to lane and push, and I think it was really good for us. So then can like outpush top and like be safe. And if we just do it and see the Boku on top side, then we can just look to finish it.
Yeah, kind of like putting them in a difficult position because either they show top and defend their top laner from the Dundun all in, or you just get the Atakan for free.
Yeah,
and I thought that was a really clever play. And like going into the day, I want to see more of this because I think you yesterday was really clever, and I really liked how you played on the map despite those rough early games. And going into the next kind of game, do you have any mind? Like, do you have any thoughts about yesterday? Anything you think you could have done better?
I mean, I think for me, actually, I think I did good still. I should have done like some rotation. I could have done better for sure, but I don't know. I'm just really happy about my performance yesterday, to be honest. And I just need to do better and better like for today, and then maybe we can win.
Yeah, I think so too. Now we're gonna go back to lore, and we're gonna break down the continuation of that series.
Lovely Finch review here with Skins. I'm so happy that he's back in the LEC. We'll see him against Fnatic in just a couple minutes. But guys, first things first. What do we think about the newest addition to the LEC? What do we think about the Ghost?
I mean, I'm loving what I'm seeing so far. Okay, it's game 2, maybe not the most impactful, but so far the addition to Fnatic was some of the changes that we need to see. Now, I will admit that Razork himself acknowledged that his game 1 and game 2 weren't the best performance. So I'm still optimistic that there's more to be seen from Fnatic, but right now they seem very grounded and very realistic about where they're at in the league.
Yeah, I feel stability is what Poby looks like he's bringing. He didn't play like, I feel like he didn't do anything insane, but he just had good laning leads. He didn't get caught out, which Humanoid had such a tendency to do all the time, and it just made the Fnatic's game look a lot easier, even when Razork was struggling.
We've seen that his laning phase and his early laning was really solid here, but what we're looking in Fnatic is actually mid-game and solving those issues. How do we think that he's going to incorporate into that? That's amazing stats, by the way, for the first 2 games that he had. He was laning against Camilo, sure, but that's promising.
I think that there's always going to be a communication barrier. We heard from Mickey yesterday on PGL where he talked about sometimes they weren't on the same page, and that was an issue that they ran into. But Poby, I think, is a fast learner. He's shown to us how motivated and committed he is. We've only heard positive things about the environment that he's bringing to Fnatic. And ultimately, day 1, yes, they did get pushed all the way to 3 games. I think that showcased some of the strength of Heretics. But at the same time, like, it's hard not to be excited for this young man in the mid lane. He's bringing something new. He's got a lot of fans already, and he's just so sweet and honest on the Rift. And based on what Razork has told us, apparently he's a bit of a comedian as well. So I'm looking forward to what he's showing us.
He's very likable, and I feel like his English already seems very good. I met him earlier, and it was just like, he just seemed very comfortable. Like, was an easy conversation. So for me, that already is so positive for the team.
It's not just about the memes, it's about the whole package. The Ghost has it all. What is he going to be able to show today in the second game that Fnatic has in summer against SK Gaming? Casters, tell us what you think.
Honestly, it's a very good question, Laura. I'm not sure. I just got lost in the fact that you said it wasn't just about the memes, because to me it is just about the memes. The performance is good, but come on, the memes are too good. We have to be excited. Although, on a side note, before we focus in on SK Gaming versus Fnatic, I do want to welcome to the caster desk none other than Odo Wamne, as we welcome the players here. Odo, it's your first cast for a banger matchup. How are you feeling? You ready?
It is indeed a banger. I'm excited. It's just Poby. Are we going to see another Poby masterclass? Because even though the analyst was not really... Well, they were hyped, but you know, I feel like it didn't really live up to the level that he had, because for me, he was a pleasant surprise so far.
Yeah, I think this is a player who obviously, again, the memes are what people know him for, and he's hyped because of a reputation that he has for stepping in for Faker, right? Even though that wasn't necessarily the peak of his individual performance, people were expecting this guy to be anywhere from the GOAT to middle of the road, and I think he did super well. What was it that stood out to you the most?
Well, I think it's what Jax said as well, where he had the stability that was needed. It felt like he was holding his own, and even in the game 2, where I felt like everything was somewhat falling apart for Fnatic, I felt like he was stable. He was the one who was keeping them in the game. And I also was quite pleasantly surprised with the amount of engages he was finding, because with the amount of limited English that he has, you know, nowadays speaking less English is better. That's just how it goes. I felt like he had the required amount of English to find engages. And when he has a champion that he needs to pull the trigger so often, finding good engages and not, you know, being caught up by himself, where Fnatic, the rest of the team, doesn't follow up on it. For me, it was probably the most pleasant surprise I had from him.
Yeah, it was really excellent that he can kind of pull the trigger and start those plays, that the team followed up. But you raise a very excellent point, which is we need the memers to figure out. Obviously, speaking Korean is a good thing these days, but
what is the sweet spot?
What is the sweet spot? Can we still say a player is speaking Korean if we need them also to speak English in comms?
That's
so this is the struggle.
So that's what would happen. That happened with me in 2015 with Ryu. He would always, bait us into thinking that he doesn't speak English well, but instead we were just cosplaying that he doesn't speak English. Because he did, but the thing is he kept his skill level by pretending that he doesn't speak English.
That's a genius maneuver.
That is.
I do remember that roster. It was a little bit cursed from what I remember.
It was very cursed.
Well, we'll go down memory road perhaps another time as we get into picks and bans. Talia banned, Varus banned. Nothing too crazy quite yet. Really looking, maybe Kadui's Ezreal gets through this time around. I don't know, what do you want to look for?
Even if it does go through, I don't feel like it's this much of a power break. I'm just curious mostly on red side because they have the, the priority here, or they have the power to decide what goes through with the Trundle being banned. Now I'm looking
I ljudi moji, dobar dan i dobrodošli. Evo nas u još jednom danu leca. A danas tu je naš dragi kolega gospodin Kokaste Rale da nam kaže neke stvari vezano za ovaj game. Rale, veliki pozdrav, da li si spreman za turbo speedrun fanatika u ovoj seriji?
Apsolutno da sam spreman za turbo speedrun fanatika u ovoj seriji i samo da mi proradi Let's stream, sve pet.
Verujem u tvoj internet, može on to.
Ne, ovo se ne dešava nikad osim sad.
Nikad osim sad.
Tako je, nikad osim sad. Kaži mi kako je prošao dan juče, si bio zadovoljan?
Mogu ti reći da sam bio verovo ili ne razočaran od strane KC-a. Aha, vidiš. Znači, ne znam šta im bi, ali moram ti priznati da ono nije bilo optimalno, mislim. Vidjet ćemo da li će nastaviti. Sad ću ti reći, samo da se setim. Protiv Giantsa. Mada Giantsi, da se ne lažemo, to sam rekao juče. Giantsi su uvek dobri prvih nekoliko partija splita. Tako da, možda je samo to, možda su samo Giantsi dobri na početku i to, ali iskreno šta je Casey radio? Neću ti pričati. Dndan!
Pobedili su i dalje.
Dobio je Casey 2-1, ali moram ti kažem neverovatan play Dndana. Razmišljam da li da ti nađem da vidiš, bukvalno je bio nivo Antonio play.
Ozbiljno.
Da, sad ću ti reći šta je uradio. Ne znam da li si spreman za ovu sekvencu događaja.
Da, kog heroja igra?
Igrao je Rambla. Igrao je Rambla. I bio je, split pushova je top, a fight se dogodio na botu. Lik se overhitovo 1-0, znači na wave-u se overhitovo na 80% ili 90% overhita imao. Bacio je TP, bacio je W, ulti u prazno, onda je bacio W, overhitovo se, protobeltovo u Jinx i onda nije mogao da baci nije ni Q, pošto je bio overhito i ušao u zonju. Znači, ono je gore od Antonija. Antonio se imao ideju, flashovo se u zid unlucky. Ovaj je došao sa 80 overhita, double shieldovo je, protobeltovo je u 4-0 Jinx i vidiš čovjeka koji klikće Q, ništa se ne događa, ulazi u zonju bez flame spittera. I Jinx koja stoji u fazonu je, ja bi trebao da sam mrtav. Međutim, jako zbunjujuće.
Dobro, možda ima potencijal dečko, polako.
Drugi game je igrao dobro. Iskreno. Drugi game je igrao dobro, ali taj Rumble game bukvalno me bolelo da gledam. I odmah su ga opleri po Twitteru i po Redditu i svašta nešto, ludnica baš.
Pako, koliko ljudi ništa ne praštaju.
Da. SK juče izgubio od BDS-a. Izgubili su 2-0. Što nije, ja bih rekao, neko veliko iznenađenje. Sjećaš se kad smo pričali o NNO kupu, kada je SK izgubio od Asus ROG BK-a iz LFL-a.
Da.
Tako da mislim da očekivanja za SK nisu nešto wow. Mislim će oni biti verovatno jedna od najgorih ekipa ovaj split zajedno sa Navijem. Nažalost.
Četo zalupio i Kedu i jedu, nisu loši igrači.
Nisu, ali znaš šta je? Oni su grifali, znaš kako su grifali, da si vidio šta su uradili. Jao, juče. Znaš ti trebao juče da budeš tu samo da vidiš šta se sve događalo. Znači, Kedui i lupi Nautilus sa 300 healtha, hook engage-a u pola healtha Real koji ima summoner heal up. Na levelu 2. I Real zbunjena kao flipa, a Jinx je bila u pitanju s druge strane, Ice igrao Jinx.
I James dobija reset na nauta.
I dobija double kill. A Kedui i lupi vrište od smeha. Njima presmiješno. Oni su u fazonu, haha, ovo je najjači dan ikada. Tako da, veselo. Ova Junara je krenula, igrala se Junara, obe serije.
Igrao si prvi dan.
Da. Tako da, ja i dalje verujem u nju, mislim da dalje ima neki ugao. Ali mislim da dalje je jako, jako teška za execute.
Jer i dalje si bilo isto, Kraken, PD i Crit.
Da.
Jel ovo je lik koji glas koji zvuči kao Jankos?
To je zašto jeste Jankos.
Či siguran?
Pa mislim... Jeste, Jankos je 100%. Ne, ovaj split svika. Znaš ko je kastovo juče? Jack Spectra.
Ozbiljno.
Da, mislim da Rio teško ostaje bez kastera, tako da Rale naše je vreme. Naše je vreme se javimo Riotu.
Aj piši.
Hello Riote. Eastern European casters here. Mislim da prolazi, ne? Realno nemaju malo tog, naš...
Ali naš engleski je clean.
Pa jeste, šalim se ja, jeste.
Aj, odradimo, ti i ja snimimo game, odradimo ga i pošaljemo im.
Pošaljemo i kažemo hajras.
Da. Šta nam fali, živimo mjesec dana u Berlinu.
Realno slažem se, nije to loše. Jao, znaš koji...
ja bulkujem.
Znaš da sam u prvih 5 dana skinuo kilo i po koliko je voda samo nestala. Bukvalno ono, prvih 2 nedelje je samo ono ego boost najjači i onda posle sve stane, ali kao prvih 5-6 dana, to je prvih 14 dana, da...
Ja sam instant vratio kilu, na vodu.
Da. Ja kao sa 83 na 81,5, bukvalno 5 dana je bilo. A pre 6 dana sam pojeo ono s tobom, onaj burger što smo jeli i poslan s Klarom, ne sam da kažem šta sam jeo sa Klarom, ali reći ću da sam pojeo palačinku koja je kinder i zaključili smo da nije zašto je ukus kindera, nego zašto je težine malog deteta. Tako da, zato je kinder, razumeš? Znači, ono je nerealno bilo. Klara je uzela jedan griz i rekla je, a gdje je tu palačinka? Znači, ono je ja tebi ne mogu da opišem. Tako da, da, ono, deep loot je stvar. To je super. Posle ove partije odmah idem na traku opet i tako. Veselo je, kolega, mogu ti reći. Abedage, Pobi je prefan, stvarno. Mislim da je trenutno jedan od najzabavnijih midlanera za gledanje. Za vas koji niste gledali Pobija, čovek builda apsolutno agresivno svaki game. Oriano je igrao sa Luden s Deadcapom. Imao je Medžaj na... Na nečemu imao Medžaj, zaboravio sam, Talija, Aurora. Uglavnom ide na ruki uvek. Tako da Pobi je jako fan i urniše Kamila.
Kolega, ja ne znam šta ćemo raditi danas. Aj ti daj mi tvoj stream.
Sekund samo.
Zato što, šta misliš koliko sam kasnio zbog bugova streama?
A moguće zabada pa da...
Znači live je 1.50, ja sam bio na 0.30.
Je li okej?
Tako je, tebi je 2.04, meni je bilo 0.30.
Okej, da, to je baš problem.
Sam sekundu.
It just feels like it's double counterpick, to be honest, because you look at, okay, Yunara's winning 1v1 versus the Kaisa. That's what I would be thinking based on, like...
Sad izvini, nastavio priču za meča, ja sam samo morao da alarmiram, da kasnujemo.
Da, ništa, Vuxter je klačovo, na Sindri je bilo, tako da... Igra na ruki, to je fun. Jako mi je fan da slušam Jankosa isto šta priča, moram da priznam.
Ja njega gotim.
Sad je kreator za Navi, ne znam da si video. Potpisao je kao kreator za Navi.
To je lepo za njega.
Pa da. Mislim, bio je u Nordu, ali kao Nord je ono random, mislim, random UK orga.
Yeah, and that's going to open the window for Upset to maybe find the swap. But back to the Braum point, I do feel like it might also be like this thing where you're like, okay,
gdje je Jankos? Čujete ga?
if you can hands diff your opponent,
Jankos kastuje game.
you need more tools to win, right? If you're going to find yourself in mid game where you're just like everyone is winning pretty much, but Kobe in the mid lane.
Nije Jankos nego odamne. El jeste odamne?
Ja sam htio da kažem, meni, ja sve vreme dvomim da li je Jankos ili odamne, neko od njih dvojica mi zvuči jako. Jer njih dvojica zvuči jako slično.
To jeste, da. Jedan Rumun, drugi Poljak, tu su, da.
Sličan im je jako akcenat.
Da, okej, fair.
Oh, they did.
Dobro, fair, zvuče, realno zvuče slično. Čudi me da Odo kastuje.
I love this reset from Razor. Well, there's a 10-10 reset. Oh, and he hooks in right on the
backing up. Flash going out of zone barrier. Lupi backing away one more.
Ajoj.
Quite get it. Upset flashes for the
Upset je pomislio da je on.
Doesn't have the damage.
Nakratko, dobro, on igra dobro, neće se
dobro.
Ja sam ti kažem jednu stvar,
Kaži.
malo da igraš prije. Našao sam jedan od načina da malo sebi regulišem cravinge koje sam imao.
Dobro.
Shvatio sam da radi skikovi rade posao.
Dobro,
da ih ubacim recimo jedan uz doručak, jedan uz večeru, na primjer, da je malo mini želja. Kao da telo kreuje više hidrata, tako sam se osjećao. Znaš sam da još nemam svi dalje prvi čokolade. Ja sam malo prestaje, više nisi.
To je goated. Ja sam našao još jednu interesantnu stvar, što je faktički
a to je zero fat, 50 grama proteina, svinjsko meso, svinjska mast.
Cream of rice, to ti je bukvalno pirinčani griz.
Jel to ima, jel ona firma koja proizvodi ono? Što ima samo u onom jednom marketu.
Ne, ovo je tamo gdje ja imam popust, ako se sećaš. Imam onu radnju gdje imam 15% popusta na sve unutra, u toj radnji sam uzeo.
Kad ćemo ti ja zajedno u kupovinu onda?
Kad god hoćeš. Možemo odemo jedan dan posle posla, pre posla, šta god, pa rešimo.
Idemo u nabavku. Ja ću da, ako imaju ona kolica, ja ću da sednem da me voziš kao tata. Ono za decu.
Ne, nemaju, ali bila bi fora, da.
Bila bi fora.
Dogovorit ćemo se to da rešimo.
When Razor is finishing his full clear, that's the moment when they would cash in on the wave and make it crash into the tower. So this way, everything is efficient.
Miki je promašio. A ovaj matchup, ljudi, Brown utilu se matchup je previše lak za Browna.
Da.
Jako teško Brown pravi grešku koja ga košta lejna.
Jedino da shieldaš ništa, okej, dun.
Tako je. Poenta cijela tog matchupa je da holduješ shield. I da budeš hookovan prego što se radi sa cooldownom, okej.
Koliko je Junara underwhelming bez ulta? Jako je underwhelming bez ulta, jer si bukvalno Ashe...
Taj princip heroja mi je.
Da. Jer si kao Ashe bez slowa. Kao okej, radiš damage, ali si Ashe bez slowa.
Čekaj, Q ne slova ako nije amplifier, ne?
Ne, mislim da je nešto... Q samo splasha, zar ne? Mislim da Q samo splasha.
A Q samo splasha?
Sad ću da vidim, da se ne ogrešim, možda i slova.
Jesi to Klara vratila u teretanu nakon povrede?
Jeste, da.
Veliki comeback.
Ma, viš da izgleda ko da nikad nije ni stala, ja neću da pričam o tome.
Znaš da sam, malo mi je falilo da je hide-on storija, da je blokiran.
Islema je slobodno na Instagramu, neće se ljutiti ono.
To je ilegalno. Sad ću da je napišem.
Ne, scam je. Toko mi komplekse nabija da ću morati ja počnem da stavljam slike iz teretane, onda će problem da bude, znaš.
It just brings a lot of pain to me when I see it often.
Hey, luckily there's no Vi in the game to be...
Ma daj, ja da sam jeo sve to što je ona jela. Znači, vidi.
Da, sve znam.
A nije fair, ali to tako nije fair. Njoj je 70 trilijona onda puta... Zamisli koliko je njoj dobro u životu.
Pa da. To ti kažem, ja živim s tim, samo to ću ti kažem.
Ne, ja bi se, znači, udavio bi je, brate, znači ti ono, umireš od gladi, ono u fazonu jedna lagana palačinka da mi nahrani moju levu gornju pločicu.
Tako je.
Ma daj, brate. A ja ovdje krv propišam da vidim malo te leve gornje pločice.
Život nije fair. SK ove sezone ne mislim da ne mogu ništa da urade. Ne želim da budem ono downer za SK, ali izgubili su od francuske EMEA ekipe, mislim da u Lecu
Mi smo pričali da LFL ekipe mogu da pobede bottom 2 Lec ekipe i ranije. Sad smo samo dobili korpus delikta, mislim.
Dobro da, ali SK je promenio roster malo i potvrdili su da su i dalje bottom 2 ekipe, to je moja poenta.
Ovo je EMEA Master top 4 roster, realno.
Da, to je fair.
Čak mislim da su svi igrači osvojili EMEA Master s ovom rosteru. Ne, Lupi nije, Skins jeste, Abadage bi trebalo da jeste, Kedu jeste. Ne znam.
I presmešno mi ime. Znači, Dundun i kako kaster izgovaraju Han Sam Di, to mi je...
To je nevjerojatno.
I Tigera ne zovu Tiger, nego Tager. Tager. Kao Pager, ali Tager. Što je malo čudno, ali dobro.
In bot lane, at least, it's tough for them to get control. Looks like Upset is going to be going for Blade of the Rune King. Obviously works very nice.
Ja sad gledam da li postoji neki ugao gdje SK ovo dobije. Imaju ok skill, a Bedage... Pa nisu vestali dva ulta, vestovali samo jedan.
Maybe he was gonna flash anyway, but
Obi trebamo stvarno bude lako za Fnatic.
You get the prio. Now as Oriana you can keep this prio forever. Walking in and finding engage using the prio. And now Lupi is forced to move here to relieve the prio, the pressure here that Razok is exerting over.
Skins does get the camp. Already used the egg.
Što se abe flashuje preko zida, ne, okej.
Flash forward from Lupi.
Lupi chill.
I oni valjda da su mi prazni slušali.
I sad nema flash. Ne znam, čujem te i dalje. Lupi je mrtav, da, pa mislim. Takav flash dredža Kajsa te sedi na botu je samo grif.
For anyone who doesn't know, you guys played together. It's not. I'm firing strays because I know him. You're firing strays because you know him.
I love him.
I love him too. I just want to be clear. The whole world isn't against Upset. It's just the two of us.
It's just funny because it's stereotypical AD carry because I know exactly what he's saying. He's walking there. He's like, guys, give me, and then everyone's like, okay, fine, we're gonna give you.
Yeah.
It's like feed the puppy.
Yeah, that's what we used to say with Uzi. It's Upset too.
Okay, prozivaju Upseta.
Money to your AD carry. He's 500 gold up now.
Ali jesu AD carry igrači razloženi, tu se slažem sa kolegama casterima.
He should be. Upset definitely a rock for this team for the most part. And Razork, I think off to a better start early. It does feel like he started the Drake a little bit late, but otherwise outperformed on the bottom side, got that early kill, 100% kill participation so far. So big glow up since we've seen him.
Exactly, big glow up because compared to yesterday I felt like he was on the wrong side of the map most of the time. Early game he was a little bit all over the place, wasn't really finding good plays. While I feel like now he has been, how to say, precise in that sense. Maybe the timings were a little bit off, but in terms of like using his pry, using his laner's leads, I feel like he has been on the right side of the map for most of the time, and it's honestly
Isto Fnatic šta čeka Drake-a i chillaju i ne igraju agro zbog Pantelije i to je to.
Razork able to keep up and farm, get that level 6 gank in the bottom side. Second Drake still 2 minutes away, 3 minutes 20 till the Herald. Fnatic, it's an okay gold lead. It's not massive yet, as when you look at the item completions, it's really only Upset who has that significant advantage with the completed Blade of the Rune King. Triforce matched by the Sundered Sky in the jungle department, even despite the lead.
Exactly, but I feel like Triforce is such a stronger spike.
Yeah.
Žao mi je malo što svaki put kada gledamo Junaru gledamo neki dive comp. Doduše, čekaj, jel više podržava bot kod Krakena? Si analizirao to da ja nisam čuo?
Ne, buffovali su Botrak, tako da se statovi menjaju. Znaš da je Botrak dobio buff prošli patch. Tako da, mislim da i dalje ljudi nisu buildali to koliko su mogli.
Da, ja već planiram da testiram Senu.
Sad ću pogledam statove, baš me zanima. Da, u stvari je sad Botrak no split. Botrak u Hurricane, u Infinity. Što se meni jako sviđa kao build, iskreno.
Mislim, Botrak je uvijek meni bio simpatičan item.
You realize that Yunara's entire champion is just old Ginsu's? Remember when Ginsu's was 8 hits into AoE?
Was it 8?
8 hits. It was pickaxe, it was blasting wand. You'd hit 8 times and it would do a bunch of AoE damage. Remember Jax used to build it? And I just realized the other day, I was like, hey,
Je publika šantuje, mislim,
Riot Games
tapše.
design team, that's the same.
Kad je bilo static shift, ja bi ga perabanovo.
The same with Irelia, because Gwen is in the game as well. Gwen is pretty much just old Irelia ult. It's like, okay guys, let's scrap it. Yeah, we can bring it back.
Baš me zanima da li će Junara da nastavi da se pikuje u dive kompove.
And to be fair, it was as broken as old Aurelia for a long time until the champion got, you know, nerfed repeatedly.
Old Irelia was fun.
Svima ovo nije naj-dive komp ikada, ali je...
For the guy who was playing it, of course.
Dovoljno. To znači da četvrti item čak možda builda, ne može, misija mora builda LDR.
Now with SK, even though I feel like they've been falling behind a little bit, I do like this sort of control they have because that dragon side is lit up like a Christmas tree. They have so much defensive wards. Not so much offensively, but that circle of 3 pings that is happening in the jungle is beautiful to see. It's gonna match a flank, but at the same time,
Kaj da crtaš? Evo ga neko koristi primate krugove, ne...
Da. Provali su ne znaju da nacrtaju krug, pa su onda im ubacili opciju da imaju inbuilt krug.
Hvala Bogu, pa hvala Bogu više.
Honestly, really worked.
Transcends uses the dash out.
Utility ultimate for such a combat.
Apsolutno.
This is actually shaping up to be fine for SK, but engaging
Level
too
11 for Poby. Razork now spinning in. Abadagi looking to buy the
Lupi
line.
opet dead.
Already been exhausted. Upset still
Oho.
on the side, even if he doesn't have the ultimate, could do some
Dobar flash,
decent
ali
damage.
sad je ti je...
They don't really have the follow through. Aegis Assault now used. Upset just...
Evo, lagano, samo keduju još jednom da prokuje static shivi, svi su mrtvi. Jel znate da na trećem proku static shiva sve mete umiru? Pa daj, evo slovo je ovaj, kad je ultovano. Goat.
Da vi vidite kako to radi.
He's the goat, the goat.
Hateri će reći da je Oskar loš, ali ne, samo je Dan predobar. A ubio je Oskara.
Znaš da je možda Junara i dobra u dive kompove?
U kom smislu, kako?
Ogromna količina AOE-a, dive kompovi su jako često... Ne AOE-a, nego... Mnogo, koliko vidim, ona ability ima kad je ultovana može mnogo meta da damage-uje. Jel, ima neki kao CV level. Skoro razumem.
Da, mislim, to je fair, jedino što ja razmišljam kod dive kompova generalno u Junaru je kako ti preživljavaš to.
To je sličan princip kao Sivir, ja mislim da želiš. Želiš da ljudi dive-uju na jedno mjesto da bi ti mogo sve da ih iznabadaš u glavu. Je kao tab definitivno da će lako dive-ovati na nju, ali tipa ona vjerojatno radi uvijek Clash Clans, ovdje nije otišao Clans, jesi siguran zašto.
Da, ali šta ako si ti to mesto koje dive-uju? To mene brine. Kao da, u teoriji damage je huge, damage je insane, ali šta ako si ti mesto koje dive-uju?
Nemam ideju onda.
Mislim, ulti je kao okej.
Okej, jes da. Mnogo volim kod pobija što je klasičan, znači klasičan onaj korejski mid laner. Uvek maintainuje CS. Fajn je u laneu, menadžuje dobro sve. Flash. Flash za Brauma, koji ide u Nautilusa. Užasno. Pa vi ste sad rekli, ok, uzeli su rast, kod 2 kila su uzeli, nemoj da lupaš gluposti. Da, carry im je flashovao, imobilan carry im je flashovao, zato izgubili su 2 kula na top. Mega ne bort. Treba da flasha minut ranije, da propada onda što prebekuje i da porta svoj tier 2. Ili da ode na svoj tier 2, šta god.
Back to 2 minutes. It's about time for that both teams are starting to wrestle for this control for the Drake.
Set up around potentially the Otacon as well, although I doubt either team is going to try to rush it down too quickly. It's a tough situation. I think you're right. The second you know you're going to lose the Herald, you got to make something else happen. It's just, I don't know, I was hoping for a little bit more. I'm going to be honest, Odo. It's a tough situation.
What did you want from SK to do there? Why did you expect a little bit more?
Well, I kind of looked away for a second, and then they had lost all control of topside. So I was kind of hoping they would be in a bit better position to fight, but...
Yeah, usually when you're losing, you're looking for trades, and the winning team looks to, how to say, to stop those trades. But at the same time, man, Herald is just such a tempo swing that you really, really need to match, or at least slow the game down by not letting them get it for free.
Yeah. And in the end, it wasn't free. They got
Slažem se ja što Odo priča ovdje, ali... Ne znam baš koliko mogu da kontestuju stvari kad su toliko behind. Možda će Oscara da ubiju, I guess.
50, 0-3.
Well, it's not really the worst of that. I mean, it sucks, right? But at the same time, it's not the worst of this because what's happening here is that Fnatic gets a cross map. They'll get both jungle camps, pretty much all 3 camps. They'll get both tier 1. Well, obviously it's going to be traded for top, but at the same time, it's not bad. But I still would have liked to see this sort of dead dodge because I do feel like yesterday we've seen this often from Oscar. When it comes to mid game, this sort of dead time between objectives. When it comes to the map becoming stale, mid game you're pretty much going to get one shot on the wave. It feels like he's overreaching for these sort of side waves, where in reality he just needs to do nothing. He just needs to wait for the wave to come to him because the team is already getting a lead somewhere else.
Yeah. Sometimes tough, it seems, to make that call for him. Of course, the good news for SK in the context of this play is that Fnatic were quick on the cross map to get the bot lane tower, but Dun powerful enough, and with the power of the grubs that we mentioned earlier, can at least get the full tower traded back.
And he's shaping up to be a big threat, honestly, because with these 2 items, I was expecting Rumble to be really strong, but right now, Rumble, he's kind of useless walking into this next objective.
Oscar, useless, no.
All of a sudden,
no.
I feel like think of I see the Nautilus now.
Taman posla.
Just dying for free because I feel like if Gwen walks there with a good setup,
Mislim da, Gwen je svakako jača, mnogo jača, ali... Volio bi da vidim da SK nađe neki full collapse na upsete i samo da uspiju da ga šotaju. Mada opet, to što si rekao, ajde, ako fokusiraju Junaru, a Rumble, Wukong, Oriana, Wombo, Combo, klep na sve njih ih samo šota, tako da nije ona jedina koja lomi. Došli sam šta kažeš za Oscara, znam si rekao ne bi to polecu. Pa viš da je 0-3-0, tako da dobro se drži Nio, dobro se drži, odličan je ovaj game. Dobija ga Dundan koji je Griffovu jedinu seriju koju je igrao, tako da, znaš kako, nije loš. Daj sve od sebe.
Aj ne besim.
Ja, ne, a Fnatic će dobiti ovaj game i dalje, to je fora. Camping Soul da ovi Oriana i Junara mogu da prežive dive, bar dovoljno da bace spelove. I oni su skroz okej ovoj partiji, iskreno.
Despite the kind of extra people they left around the bottom side, you can see the vision that we highlighted earlier in the bottom side.
Iako u teoriji Ryze Kai'Sa bi trebali da budu... Mislim, kad pogledaš njihov leading comp u stvari je jako dobar.
Fnatic just didn't walk past their line because they have no motivation. Frazer finally finds this ward, but at the same time the game has been so much about objectives and just getting the priors, not really so much pushing your leads in terms of waves because you don't really need it. But at the same time, you don't need more when you're gonna start this attack and all you need to do is just zone the chokes, and now Mickey is in a position where he's gonna block everything. Oriana Ball can go into that rush, and for me this is just a dead objective already for Fnatic. His K is just so late.
Mickey ready to body block 4K. It is getting lower. Kudui off to the side.
Atak sam skoro 100%. On ne stižu ništa. Mnogo je usporen SK. I svaki put kasne. Svaki put neko negde kasne.
O, Miki?
No, džabe je.
Ma da.
And everything is just falling apart right there because Dindon is TPing so late, and at the same time you can see the desperation on SK. They're really trying to find an engage, but when you don't have people in position and you're relying on Pantheon to just walk in, even if you ult in with Nautilus and you find engage, you just don't have enough numbers advantage or even equality to find any sort of fight.
This was disastrous.
It's just, again, when walking to that choke is just so impossible. Avedag is split on the bot side, Pantheon is ulting very late, and Fnatic is just sitting as a ball. That's why they find Avedag here, because there's no one to catch when the ball is just so tightly knit together. There's just no one to catch, so Nautilus just loses a lot of value, and even now, you're walking into 4v5, the Braum shield is in front, putting stacks on everyone.
Ovo je bio mnogo sloppy fight od Fnatica, ali je i dalje SK nekako više grešio.
Da. Mislim, opet ni Abe baš ne bi smio da padne sa flashom up kad igra Ryze, ali...
Pa dobro, mislim, prošli put je flashovo onako nepotrebno, tako da...
Bolje da umre s flashom.
To ti kažeš.
Bolje da umre s flashom nego da tako flasha, to je totalno fair take.
You're getting leads and you're putting the Brom in front. How are you going to walk past them? 1 or 2k gold lead at 10 minutes was enough to just make this snowball happen.
Yeah. In the midst of your point, though, Poby did throw out a random shockwave. Did not connect.
Just
continuing to walk up, but they're so far ahead, it just doesn't seem like there's anything to be done. Dunda cannot get in the fight. The equalizer goes down. Kadui able to ult out to safety, but they don't even need Baron. Yeah. They're just too far ahead. That's 3 dead. Poby going in. Flash forward for Mickey. Doesn't quite get the angle. Another double kill to come through. This is a
wow, koji daje pola gas.
24 minuta pobjeda za Fnatic. Je u stvari insane.
Bit of desperation. Razor gives them 1 kill back. Realm more into upset.
Ne.
Koliko su samo prešli preko njih, to je meni nevjerojatno. A baš samo confident and control, baš je... deluje mnogo easy.
Ultimately, there's not really a lot left to say. Let's get ready for our second game, see if SK can bounce back.
Vrlo lepo. Iskreno, SK stvarno ne deluje dobro i mislim da to brine mnogo ljudi, jer ne bi smeli tako da deluju, ali šta da se radi. Meni se svakako čini da veliki potencijal ima Poby i ovaj Fnaticov roster, nevezano što SK ne izgleda toliko dobro. Tako da vidjet ćemo da li će game broj 2 biti približno čist koliko i ovaj, ali meni deluje dosta dobro i nadam se da će tako da se nastavi.
Vidjet ćemo da li će nastaviti speedrunuju svako pauzica, 11 minuta između partija. Idemo na pauzu, tu smo u gameu broj 2 koji kreće, da, za 10-11, brbe smo.
Red Bull gives you wings.
So I'm joined by Upset after their first win. Upset, I want to talk a little bit about Yunara, because we've started to see it. We saw it first picked a couple of times. Here you went for a bit of a different build to what we've been seeing so far. What made you go down the Blade of the Ruined King Runeans route today?
This build is just by far the best. People just haven't caught onto it. It just does more damage, better early game, better laning phase, better scaling. So I think the build is just overall the best.
All right. How would you round out the build, just for people at home?
Just Blade, Hurricane, IE, or LDR. One of the two, depending what you need, and then probably you want to hit that 100% crit on full build, so maybe a shield bow could be decent.
That makes sense. There was a lot of focus down towards the bottom side by Razork in this game. Do you feel that Yunara needs that help in the early game to get her through?
No, it's quite the opposite. I think she's just very strong, so it's really easy to skirmish around her, and we got a lot of good fights and dragons from it, so it's just a strong early game champ, I think.
Oh, awesome. Thanks so much. Good luck in game 2. Oh, that was, I wasn't going for the handshake. Jack, take it away.
Thank you very much, Medic. And speaking of Yunara, I want to break down Upset's Yunara. As we talked about, he went a very different build this game, if we could get it up here, with the Blade of the Ruined King instead. Well, that's not the build. Well, that's a lot of different things at once. There's the build. Blade of the Ruined King into Hurricane. This is actually the most popular build in Korea, but in EU it's been overshadowed by Yuntal and Kraken Slayer instead. But Upset believes it's the best build, and he showed it pretty well. He also went for Conditioning Overgrowth instead of Inspiration, which is also interesting, and it allows him to be a lot more tanky and survive skirmishes a lot better. And we also see his stats. He had a stellar performance on the Yunara, and now if we could get into some of his gameplay, we can see why the champion is so strong and how he leveraged the champion for success in this game. He starts off, he gets great trades here and great spacing onto the Kai'Sa, utilizing the longer range that Yunara has and the great all-in that she has as well. And here in this clip, he utilizes the E and ulti reset mechanic to first get the movement speed from the E into ulting and then getting the E reset to escaping the Pantheon ult, and then he can actually rejoin the fight at full HP because he escaped their initial play, and he can be the one cleaning up the fight. Overall, a wonderful showcasing of Yunara and her mechanics and how well she can contribute to fights in the game. And you can see he just runs down the Rise as well with honestly pretty good damage. And this is one of the reasons why I believe Yunara is so damn strong. As we can see here, Upset again is able to just run down the Rise, and he still has the ultimate, able to keep dashing forward, slowing people down, and it really showcases how great Yunara is at running people down in team fights. It's very similar to Release Seri in that aspect. The ulti just lasts way longer than you expect, which allows her to have so much chase down potential. But now, that was the little Yunara breakdown. I believe my fellow analysts in the spa zone can take it away.
Yes, we can. Hello. You don't come with us. You don't get to have fun. We here outside. A lot of analysis coming here through. Guys, talk me through the game. How would you describe the improvements from Fnatic from the first series they played until this one now?
If you're willing to role play with me,
I love it.
I actually think there's a really great descriptor of how things have changed between yesterday and today. So yesterday, we heard from Upset that there was a lot of attention topside. So today, I'm going to be Razork, and I want you to be Oscar, and
Oscar.
I want
Great.
you to ask me for a gank.
All right. Can you keep path towards top this game?
No! Finn, no, Oscar, we cannot gank top lane. Ask me again, ask me again.
Can I get a push out?
No, we can't, Oscar. There is no top lane. You get solo killed. Ask me for help.
Can I get a hover at least?
No! No, Oscar, no, we can't. Now you're upset. Ask me for help.
Okay, I'm going to need you to sit behind me, wave C, and then we're going to crash wave F, and then on wave X.
Yes, Mr. Upset. Yes, Mr. Upset. I'll be there. Let me get a little bit closer to you, Mr. Upset.
Also, your red
buff.
buff.
Do you need a massage, Mr. Upset?
Your chickens are spawning in 2 seconds.
Yes.
I'm going to need you to go bot side so I can take your top side. Yeah,
absolutely, Mr. Upset.
That's crab.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Yes, Mr. Upset. Did you enjoy that triple kill that we got you in mid lane?
It was sufficient.
It was sufficient. I think that's a great description of what we saw today versus yesterday. Bot lane ganks, bot lane focus, bot lane, bot lane, bot lane. And Finn, I feel like you experienced some trauma, not here, on the Rift, because Oscar was left alone. He was getting solo killed. He was getting dived. These are all like bringing back memories for like your time in top lane as well, I imagine.
Yeah, I mean, my therapist would tell me to stay away from scenes like this, but sadly it's part of my job, so I have to relive my past. And seeing Oscar just kind of have to salvage to get a creep, try to ult every single wave, and just seeing Upset relish in luxury and crabs and I don't know, chicken nuggets, everything that
the trauma is coming back.
Yes.
Calm down. Calm down.
And also, I mean, he did end up winning the game.
He won the game.
So what can you do?
Diff.
I mean, you can't just go there and say, guys, next time can we like play towards top more? Because they're winning the game. This is working for them. And I feel like if you are Fnatic against maybe a lower tier team, playing for upset is just such a winning formula.
Yeah.
I feel like if Fnatic goes into these games, and I expect them to really just kind of enable upset more in these games, because you need all the wins in this new format, and I feel like upset just knows how to capitalize on this.
And we talked about it at the beginning of the day, the stability of Poby. He's just a player that is very reliable. He was already building a lead in his individual 1v1. He had the winning matchup, and they could just leave him be. Every now and then, Razork would path around just to provide that cover when he needed it. And the entire game was just spent on getting the bot side of the map ahead. And it just worked. And it's just funny to me because after we heard that PGL from Mickey and Upset last night, talking about how our jungler is pathing top, and we don't agree with that. So immediately day 2, he's pathing bot. And what, that was like a sub 25-minute stomp
crazy
as well. Like, it was just such a one-sided affair that, like, Fnatic, if they continue with this playstyle, they'll be fighting for the top spots in no time.
Well, that's the thing. Given how easy this game was, playing against SK in the game 2, do you want to keep the same approach, or do you want to maybe spice things up?
I wouldn't change anything.
Yeah.
Like, this method works, especially you have to remember that Upset was MVP of the regular season last split, and while he didn't end up qualifying for MSI, and Fnatic did end up falling short of their goals, the player is someone that you can't afford to underestimate, and when you give him the resources, he will deliver on them. So right now, they just seem to have all the pieces that need to work, and also just like, we sing Upset's praises, but this wouldn't have happened without Razork. And credit to him, because he was frustrated with his performance yesterday, but he had a fantastic game today.
Amazing recovery from Razork.
I feel like going into next game, I mean, it kind of all starts in the draft, right? Because we saw SK choose blue side once again, and what happens is, what Fnatic did now is they pick their tops at 1, 2, 3. So going down to 4, 5, you can then pick the strongest AD carry on 4, and then give your counter pick to the support to kind of solidify that strongest bottom matchup. You have the strongest AD carry and the counter pick support, and I assume they're going to do the same thing again. They're going to kind of pick their top set early, drop the bot lane, pick whatever AD carry King Upset wants, and then counter pick for Mickey with that support. And I feel like this is just the formula that they can use against all these lower tier teams to kind of get some easy wins, you know?
La Formula! Dardo loves this. Of course, this mentioned smooth sailing, simple plan for Fnatic. What could go wrong for them? Casters, take it away.
Is your face okay?
Yeah,
I don't know. I kind of hope something goes wrong so we can get another role play with Finn and Vedius.
That was great.
Yeah, that felt.
Actually, it was great for everyone who's not a top laner, because for me that was depressing to watch.
That was trauma. Yeah, that was a dramatic reenactment.
It's exactly true. I was there. I was the one asking my jungler, "Hey, can you gank top?" And guess who was answering no? It wasn't the jungler, it was Upset. He was saying, no, don't gank top. Come to me, I will carry the game. And I just sit there, I'm like, yeah.
Yeah, we made a
I mean, he's right, you know, he was going to carry the game, but I'm just sitting there, I'm like, but I want to carry too.
Yeah, you deserved your shot, Odo, you know? And to be fair,
I missed a lot.
You did miss a lot, but you also did win.
That's true.
So, we'll see.
Well, Upset didn't.
I know.
So I won in the end.
Top
laners are always right.
I don't think that's the moral of the story.
Well, for me it is.
I think we just delete the lane and move on. League 4v4 game. It's just simpler.
And top lanes are also the ones suffering here. If you delete top lane, we're not happy.
Yeah, you just like set you free. You guys go to the farm. You all hang out together.
Oh, that would be quite peaceful.
It'd be very, very peaceful. You guys would just pass waves back and forth and not do anything.
Or you just need like a fence around top lane.
That's true. That's true. Yeah, I think that's just make it its own separate 1v1 game. You know how like
there's feats of strength now, so now there's feats of strength.
Apologies in advance because I don't know why Harry Potter stuck in my head. But you know how like Quidditch is obviously the dumbest game ever invented because no matter what anyone else does, like someone can catch the snitch and win. You need to play Quidditch. Quidditch, you can be like that guy, and then everyone else, whatever bot side of the map is doing, it doesn't matter because in the end you win. League is the exact opposite. Whatever top lane does not matter because someone on the other side of the map could do it and it's just over.
Exactly, what a victim.
You're playing reverse League of Legends, reverse Quidditch.
Oh, that would be great.
All right, I promise we're getting to Champ Select soon. I swear we'll get on topic.
They should just make it for top lane that you just have a fence, and if you win hard enough, you get like a bonus piece of strength.
Bonus piece of strength, or you get to like break the fence and you're finally free.
Or you just need, honestly, you just need someone with like an alarm bell. Hey, your top laner is winning, so people don't.
Honestly, if we get all the Darius and Garen players like locked away so they can't influence the rest of the map, I think that's good for the health of the game. That said,
that one in LEC, why did you do him like that?
Well, I like Adam when he plays. In comp, it's different. It's solo queue that I'm concerned about. Although we've seen some solo queue moments so far this season. We'll see if we see it.
Evo nas u draftu i kao što vidite, dok mi pričamo o draftu od Amne i ovaj drugi brat pričaju o Quidditchu. Tako da ne znam šta da vam kažem. Kako oni mogu da pričaju o Quidditchu, a kastuju LOL, meni to smisla nema, ali šta da se radi?
Yeah, I think he's going to be all right. We've already seen a number of solid champions from him.
Sad sam provalio šta piše Sendes.
But as noted, I think we talked about this behind the scenes. He still had an impactful game, despite the limitations of the pick. SK going for the Talia. And I gotta say, the last time I saw Avidagi play this Talia was in the NNO show match, and it was, or tournament, NNO Cup 3. It was bad. It was really, really
I was about
rough.
to get excited and say, was it good? But I guess
no, he was like 07. There was a lot of deaths. Now, the Rise was the good pick, but maybe there's been some improvement. He's dug deep. He's found something new. And unlike what Finn said, with the Ezreal on the table, Fnatic have instead opted to pick 80 carry early and locked in jungle alongside it.
It does make sense
Halo,
because Ezreal is
halo.
a snipe away from Kid2 as well.
Ja se čujemo, dobro mi je mikrofon, pošto sam punio slušalice, moram da istekam mikrofon za to.
Sve lagano si provalio, što su iznad banova napisali Champions having a break. Iskreno,
dobro, lepo sam ga uradio.
Da. Taj tip marketinga podržavam, realno je fora.
Meni cool.
To mogu da podržim, Chaser veliki poz.
Complements Talia very well, you know, point and click, you just stack your out attacks, you dash in, you knock someone up. You're probably strong enough for 2v2 mid, depending on what Fnatic is picking here. I'm really happy that Sona Hover went away, because I don't want to see it.
What are you talking about? What a thrilling champion with unique and exciting gameplay.
Čuo sam da je Sona inače giga dobra u solo queue, ne znam zašto. I to je interesantno. Evo Klara klima glavom, kaže jeste. Tako da svašta sam čuo.
Ja ne mogu da zamislim da Sona bude dobro u solo queue, ću ja uvijek da je odvedem 0-10 u lane-u, u 100% slučajeva. Igrao sam, ako dobijem counter pick, igrao sam Sona na out matchup protiv 1100 LP-a Sone na Vestu, prošle godine.
Dobro.
Znači, prelomio sam ga, doduše igrao sam tipa sa Zamulekom, ali prelomili smo ga. Wasn't even close. Tako da ja stvarno ne verujem u Sonu. Ne verujem u Sonu nikada u solo queue.
Dobro, to je legitimno.
Zato što stvarno sam, kažem, igrao sam protiv najboljih mogućih Sona i lomio sam ih, a ja tad u tom momentu imam manje LP-a od te Sone. Tako da sam u fazonu nemoguće da...
Yeah, he was given a winning matchup, right, with the Orion into the Rise game 1. This one is going to be much harder. Tough to survive early, and also a lot more, another lethal kind of jungle mid duo, similar to the Rise Pantheon. And I do like that SK have continued to prioritize getting these proactive engage options for their team. This time it's Loopy on the Rakan. Zen also one of those strong early aggressive.
I također se nadam da Sona nikad neće dobiti mjesto u pro play. Moja velika nada.
Šta znam, meni je fajn. S neke strane, mislim, Sona, Serafin, volim da vidim te velike ulte koje menjaju tog fajta, zanimljivo mi je. Doduše, Serafin očigledno malo jača od Sone, ali noviji heroj pa ima i smisla.
I guess it is a strong blind pick. Realistically, you're just taking out the good blinds for top lane. At the same time, the Bard. The thing is, what happens?
I heard someone in the audience just
Eto ga, Bard. Happy Rally Noises.
Pa da. Dok ti kažem, već sam si navikao da ga gledam u pro playu, stvarno se redovno igra.
Zašto je
Traveler guy walks through walls?
Zašto je prvo pick? Ez je jako safe i omogućava ti da ga blindaš, da ti kompozicija faktički radi u svakoj situaciji, jer je mnogo jako u lane-u zbog little tempa, prejak je u mid game-u zato što tako funkcioniše heroj, a na ostalim lane-ovima trenutno imaš i više nego dovoljno late game scale-a da nadomesti to što Ezreal nije toliko dobar u 50 minuta. I plus meta realno nije takva, mislim, jako retko game ode dovoljno late. Ali kao i da ovdje imaš Yuna, imaš Gwen, imaš Rambla, imaš... Ono, svaki pik, mislim nije svaki, ali većina pikova u meti sad scaluju jako dobro, tako da čak i da se održi game.
Ovo prvi put pobira Meleu, jel tako?
U pravu si, da, igraju mageove svaki game.
To će biti fun. Radujem se. Baš se radujem zapravo.
R5 counter pick for Oscar.
Baš se radom.
Oscar Jace, dobro.
Oscar Jace.
Moram priznati da nisam to očekivao, ali želim dobrodošlicu ovom Jace piku.
On the mid 2v2 to carry you through mid game, I do feel like the comp from SK is just so damn solid. You have the Cassante, big wall in the front line. Zinzao or Akana are gonna find a lot of engages, and on the side of Fnatic, you don't really have engage. You're going again for this sort of team comp where you need to get ahead in early. You need to get to these objectives first to lay out the saplings, lay out the Jace poke, look for the Bardul when they walk in, because outside of that, you don't really have a lot of tools walking in. So
Dobro, iskreno led draft, pa nakon draft baš led. Meni se jako dobro.
If they get to mid game, 15 minutes mark, equal in goal, they should be cruising through this game.
There's a lot of shoulds there. There's a lot of should. Wait,
NNO for let's, okay, u redu.
You're in the Fnatic section. There's flags in front of you.
Instructions unclear.
Instructions are unclear. Wait, you're the people who cheered for Mickey. You guys are sitting in the wrong spot.
Proziva publiku report.
It was the bar guy, that's why he's happy anyway.
I mean, yeah, I'm excited for bar too. We'll see. You said it yourself. I'll summarize in a way that might not be fair to what you said, but it's Fnatic. Hands diff. Can they do it? If they can't, it's looking grim in the mid game.
Jel on to rekao hands diff? Fair?
Može mala digresija, pitanje za mog kolegu.
Može uvek.
Edukacija tokom laning faze. Da li si čuo za dextrozu?
Da.
Da li si čuo da je korisno da se pije sa kreatinom radi brže absorbacije?
Zašto bi želeo brže da absorbuješ kreatin?
Kažu da postoji value od brzog absorbovanja kreatina sa dekstrozom nakon treninga, da se mišići, da šećer plus kreatin dobro utiče na mišiće kad se brzo absorbuje nakon treninga. To sam čuo od jednog dečka koji se bavi bodybuildingom, kad je bio mlađi.
Meni kao generalno nema smisla jer ne vidim benefit brzog absorbovanja kreatina, zato što ti tijelo troši kreatin iz storage-a, ne kreatin koji absorbuješ. Tako da, kao možda ne znam, samo lično ne vidim neki benefit kao zašto bi želeo brže da absorbuješ nešto što trošiš storage toga svakako, ali možda ima neka nauka iza toga.
Very Korean Jace, okej.
Ja ćemo da imamo da li će biti Korean Jace. Juče smo gledali Electricu Jace-a, tako da...
I mean,
it's not start an international incident, bro. You don't need to decide what's better, Spanish or Korean.
On the bar, this here already hit 2 Qs already, but on the topic of the top lane, Jace will be finding the lead early. At the same time, it's also not easy for him to get this sort of lead past minute 6, past minute 7 when Cassante is gonna buy a chain vest, he's gonna rock up, be like, okay, I'm a tank, what you gonna do? We're gonna see a pause.
Chaser veruju dundra.
Koliko slično zvuče.
Da, baš slično zvuče, nevjerovatno je.
Mid jungle, what matters? Mickey finding yet another stun.
But he's the already, so it's great. But is it really that great? He needs to go on a little trip to find some chimes.
Yeah, good shout. Obviously, chimes a ton of mana regen. Oh, I'm such a Bard fan. We'll see how many he's got around him. Unfortunately, we can't see on our HUD, but I imagine we'll see Mickey wander out of lane to at least grab one shortly. And in the meantime, both jungles pathing towards the bottom side of the map.
Razor learned.
He learned.
Work game 2-1. It's gonna work game 2. It's like, you can't really interact top lane so much because there's the nature of the map.
Ovdje za sada Vodage lepo laneuje, ali čekamo da Pobi dobije malo itema pa će biti drugačije malo. Baš si ja nadam će biti drugačije.
Good hit rate for Mickey so far, wandering up to at least drop a ward, perhaps place another chime. 2 extra little health pots waiting for upset if he needs them. It's a pretty good early lane control from the side of Fnatic.
Sim, Oskar bi svako trebao da bije Xante na početku partije, te kasnije bi on trebao da možda mu odgovori nekako.
Quieter game, it feels like.
Definitely. Oscar.
Going all in. Thundering blow.
Da, Oskar ovdje ima kill pressure možda.
Flash basic. Je dobro.
Done these Jace matchups.
I told you the language is good.
Okay, Dundon se ne provodi.
I don't know what he's saying, but it seems to be working.
Yeah.
Whatever he's picking up. Oh. been good for Oscar too, especially after the Rumble counter pick absolutely did not work in the previous game.
Razork is finding a great clear, did the both crap, now walking back into his top side, but now it's going to be a 3v3 for the chickens. And I do feel like Skins can't
3v3 for the chickens.
Yeah,
Okay, rookie caster.
Kobe though burns the Q3, but Skins already on the way out.
Pretty good win for Razork because this is going to accelerate them in the jungle clear pretty heavily. Well, the Gromp is coming off for Skins as well, but now you're just going to see the typical 2 full clears from the junglers into realistically a contest for the Dragon. So this bot, Prio, whoever gets it in the next minute is going to be very important. But at the same time, we missed this, but Lucian did get the base in. So now Upset is stuck in this
lepo je Upset trade s tim da je 2 longsworda down, ali odavne slažem se s tim, osim što Upset ima teleport, tako da reset nije bitan na Lucianu. Jer Ezreal samo Rikola kad god doće, a Rikola će na šinu, imaće veći spike u midlane fightu.
Ovo što je Sajner rekao je recimo podcenjena stvar jako. Upset je, jel ti nije problem malo da breakdownujem?
Naravno, naravno.
Na tvoj, dao si mi šlagvord.
Naravno, naravno.
Miki je znao da igraju Lucian, Rakan lane, Barda i Ezreal i da je lane aggression u ovom laneu s obe strane težak. Rakan jako teško engage-uje i Olina, Ezreal, Bard lane i vice versa, Ezreal, Bard lane nemaju Olin nego poke ovde. Čak ni post 6 je jako teško. I iz tog razloga Upset je znao da nema potrebe, pošto nema potrebe za cleansom, da nema potrebe za barijerom jer je barijera toliko u meti zbog lane heavy i skirmish heavy meta. On je ovdje u fazonu, ok, ako se mi nećemo tući, ja mnogo više mogu da dam svom laneu slobode i svom supportu čak slobode da roamuje, da ja mogu da backujem na loš timer i da portam nazad. Što je huge. Dakle, Upsetu je plan ovdje da se nikada ne pobije u laneu, da enabluje Mikija da može da igra kako god on želi, a da Keduijev lane pressure, kao što je Sajna malo pre rekao, učini nebitnim, jer kad god da se backuje, Upset ima TP.
Fair breakdown, lepa analiza.
Hvala.
Evo ga taj TP, kao što sam rekao, Shintir optimalno za Eza. I sad kad pogledaš Kedu, ima pola mane, ima double longsword i kal. I sad je Fnatic samo u mnogo boljem tempu, Razork. Mora se pazi ovdje kuda, da ne napravio grešku. Ok, da, on samo Olina, on je samo mrtv. Samo da Oskar ne zagrifa. Sad Oskar ne izgubio toliko healtha, mogo je da porta bot i da contestuju Drake, ovako će izgubiti Drake za ovaj play. Ali dobro.
You do never know how it's going to go. That's a good call. The good news for SK is, while they did lose their top laner, they got the Drake, and they're keeping pressure up on the bot side, so I like the Fnatic got a call.
Okay za SK, iskreno, okay za SK.
I mean, honestly, if I'm the tank this game, if I'm Dundun and I just died, you know, and we got Drake, I'm like, good death. You know, it's just, you're really not gonna get any weaker than this. Like, you died, sure, you missed on like maybe 6-7 minions of gold, but at the same time, the matchup doesn't really swing for top lane. Jace wasn't the one who got the kill, it was Maokai. Sure, it's gonna accelerate him to his Liandries and controlling the map and being annoying and yada yada. But at the same time, win conditions stay the same. But right now, we see Lucian swapping to top. I think this is a great swap because Upset was just stuck bot with no teleport. The Cassandra is there, you are forced to match it because realistically the Chase is gonna get dove, Cassandra is not gonna get dove, so you're forced into this sort of standstill that you are forced to brave because right now SK is in prime position to take the grabs and accelerate the game again.
Yep, Mickey trying to hold the wave mid, eats a lot of damage for it.
Lepo analizu dodam, ne?
But as you said, first setup
moram da ti pokažem kako izgleda moj stream trenutno. Ja sam ga samo pogledao da vidim na što je stalo. Evo, on je zabao na nekom random mestu i Blame i samo animation lokovano. Animation lokovano, bože, samo zabagovano ovako.
Nešto. Odlično. Dobro, dogodi se, šta se radi.
Osim kad se ne dogodi.
Tako to bude ponekad.
I've entered way too many times to, you know, get the gaslit into that one.
Yeah, respect. I imagine it's a struggle, but remember how we said SK were probably going to get set up on the grubs?
Well, they got 2.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
I mean, they will get the feats of strength, or at least the token for it.
Da sada pobije fine, to je ono što je meni najvažnije, meni se oči uprte u njega. Iskreno ne znam da li da budem impresioniran što kao Oscar maltretira Xantea u ovom matchupu, jer je to samo ono što treba da se doleđe, tu da stvarno ne igra toliko dobro.
Looking at it, because we were talking a lot about it, Poby's been holding his own, and I feel like he didn't really get a lot of attention. But at the same time, if I'm the Yone and I'm minute 9 in game and I'm equal to CS to Talia, and I'm, you know, stopping her moves around the map, I'm quite happy.
This is pretty fantastic, yeah, because again, the concern is that every time Abadagi gets this push, that he can just roam.
Čekam da vidimo šta će Poby uraditi jedno kad dobije malo više itema. Do tada je realno fanatik, pa mislim chillaju. 9 minuta s ovim kompom ne bi trebali voda ovako rano. Uksin, Lucijana, Taliju pogotovo oko levela 6 po okolo, ekipa fanatika bi trebala da bude behind. A nisu. Jer trenutno Abadagi ne igra partiju, Uksin mislim da nema dovoljno prešera. Ja ne znam da li je prediktovao flash ovdje od Oscara ili šta je ovo bilo. I sad će Oscar da ga nalupa malo.
Da, mislim, ovaj matchup panišuje dosta Xantea, ali to je svaki Jace. Uzme gres, može i da stekuje, to je Jace uvek je srećan zbog toga.
A zar nije bolje, mislim, čisto informativno, ovaj čevest mi nema smisla, zar nije bolje da uzeo samo Warden's Mail u Jace-a, ako već neće na plate da rush? Kapiram da želi Iceborne da rusha, pa verovatno zbog toga, ali dobija baš ozbiljne, baš je panišovano što ima Chainvest.
Je, bojim se da mu je preveliki commit Warden's Mail, pa da mu je bolje da uzme Boots jer će Boots svakako uzeti. Kao razlika između Warden's Maila i projekti Stirkem sečnjevica, te Warden's Mail tera da ideš na neki item koji se konzistuje od njega. Dok to nije slučaj sa...
Sam je čudan buy. Mislim, ja bi rađe onda uzeo Clot Armor i Ruby Crystal, nego full Chainvest. Pričam do Iceborna. Kao okej, mi u nekom trenutku mora imati Chainvest, samo Chainvest kao first mi je baš ono, ne znam, čudno. Mislim da je Clot Ruby verovatno više efektiv što se healtha tiče. Ali dobro, u nekom trenutku, mislim, dobit će item ipo i bit će laga. A i Oscar mi se ne traži kill koliko samo traži da staka... Da staka Grespi samo da skela, tako da je njemu skroz okej da, ono nebitno šta mu je s druge strane.
This Ezreal, he's becoming a threat. Lucian has not hit the mark so far. I feel like he's falling behind in spikes, and I don't really think that he can match the spike or like the, how to say, the impact that Ezreal will be having for the rest of the game. So it is looking rough. It is all hinging on this next Drake situation. Are they gonna give it, SK, or are they gonna fight it?
Good question. TP into the mid lane, coming in from the spellbook on Loopy, has the exhaust as well.
Oscar nastavlja da bulija. Izgleda da kako god buy nije bio dovoljno dobar.
Fnatic coming in. Poby ready to follow up with an ulti. Immediately going to lock up Abadagi, not allowing him to ult out to safety. They try to get a bit more space, but their mid laner's already gone. Oscar not
Odlično za Poby, zapravo napravio veliku pometu.
Hasn't popped the teleport, not going to come down. 2 quick kills for Fnatic. It was SK with advantage in positioning, but Fnatic don't hesitate.
To je rekao baš neko u pregemu za nekoga ko ima i jezičku barijeru i sve to, Poby baš dosta koluje, što je impresivno. Tj. koluje, mi ne znamo da li on vokalno koluje, ali izgleda in-game kao da donosi odluke. Bar nama tako laički deluje.
To je fair, to je fair. Mato, tamo posle, ja nemam ništa negativno ka Dendanu, samo se razumemo. Imao je jedan loš game, jedan dobar game, tako da ne mogu ništa mu kažem.
You are getting cooked, buddy.
Okay.
That is true.
That is true. Apt analysis.
Cooked.
I love when they do the job for us.
To je fair, ne moraju kasteri da kažu ništa.
Friends, viewers, audience, chat. Yeah.
It's very hard that humor, you know, like when the game is going bad, you need to kind of, you know, make a comment, reset, go into the next play, because that's the only
We are
thing we saw
getting
yesterday when
cooked.
they were laughing. It worked.
It did work. And now they're going to try to find Razork again, rinsing and repeating. Oh. Mickey said not today with the Bardal. Is he going to be able to find this done? Razork now going out, using Abadage as a highway to escape. Oh, God, it's a catastrophe! Somebody kill the tree! It's not going to happen.
Ne znam kako ga uopće mapio pobjede toliko jako sa ovim... Da bude toliko tanky sa ovako, s ovim itemima, ali ajde. Da, lepo.
They should hold this forever, because now they just need to drag this way, push it in.
Prvi stav drži se, ali evo sada pobjeda bot uzima tier 1. Nije to tako jednostavno kao što deluje bi i jao bož. Nice look, bro. Nije smeo Miki tako dobro stepuje, mislim nije smeo ni... Nije smeo ni upset, ali kao ajde. Možda ne računa na Miki da odreaguje nešto i slično.
Ne bi ni trebali on delo partije prave tako, mislim ne bi nikad trebali prave takve greške očigledno, ali Ezreal jako želi da do tipa 18 ili 19 minuta ostane u životu i da može perma da farma. Kako bi samo što pre došao do Moramana i da mogu forsiraju svaki objektiv na mapi, tako da svaka smrt Ezo u ovom delu partije setbackuje Fnatic za minut 2. I to idealno gledaju da izbegnu. Ali dobro, mislim, Keduje su malo vratili u game. Zil drugi mi se jako ne sviđa s Rakanom. Iako ide na Vori, Essence Infinity u ovo mi se mnogo više sviđa. Maoka je full AP, oni nemaju tanka, ti ako igraš Essence Infinity s 50% krita s Lucinom sam nosiš game. Ako te ništa ne ispogađa, naravno, ali kao potencijal je definitivno tu.
It's always so pleasant to watch
the OP champions fight each other. Yeah, I agree. Why is every champion with a 3-stack Q just like
it's so cool, no?
Yeah.
It's like 1, 2, and then on the third one it's dopamine.
Yeah, it is max dopamine, but I always feel like it's supposed to feel like there's meaningful counterplay and like.
Simpatični su mi mnogo, nešto su odavno, donosi mi dobru energiju da desku.
Jeste. Mislim, vidi, chillaju. Ja se malo sprdam sa ljudima koji vole da truju u chatu, pričali su o Quidditchu malo čas, tako da... Kao ono, očigledno je Let's Casteri mogu pričati o čemu god.
Da.
Jer valja se nekad malo i zabaviti, ako to već ide.
Fnatic looking around here, finally 5 people here, and it's just so hard for SK to walk in here. Even if they walk in, they're gonna force the TP, and they do feel like they need to fight here, but it's so hard with all the...
Oh, ulti from Loopy, immediately going to McHale's himself to try and get in the backline. Kadui's ulti really not connecting on anyone. Oscar and now locked in the wall. Dundun, Razork flashing on safety. Poby goes into the entire team, but doesn't do a lot of damage. Now it's Kadui flashing in, sidestepping.
Oh, jako dobro play SK, jako dobro play SK.
Dundun looking to take over. Poby Q3 over the wall. And
uspjeli su pobegnu, ali odlično fight bez SK.
That went all over the place, because I felt like it would have been a lot of...
Vidi ga, all over the place. Oh my god.
To get in there, but ultimately Fnatic do get the Herald. Watch this, Loopy is going to take the plant. Lucian on the sideline, I feel like the fact that they're engaging from so many angles, it just makes it hard for Fnatic to actually find a good target, because when Dundun is in front, all of a sudden you need to look to the side.
Ne mogu, brate. When Dundun is in front.
That's the thing about Fnatic's comp. It spikes super hard when they're all forced to walk through a choke point.
Daleko najjače ime.
Through it so that you have one clear target where you can hit your poke, because you can't really be picky. You don't have anyone that you really want to hit. It's just you want to keep it controlled so that they walk in there, you stop them.
Yeah. Kadui getting bullied out of the mid lane here, but doing pretty well for himself thus far. Really the only member with a significant lead on the side of SK. 2 items completed, Essence Reaver, Navori Quick Blades.
Herald mid lane, this pretty much should make it that they have control over this Drake. Now they can choose to keep going mid, because Abe will be looking to rotate here.
I was spotted. Mickey with the charge in. Can't imagine they get another. Overall, using that prio to be first to the next objective. Third Drake.
I do like this position mid from Upset, because he's dragging 2 people here, while the rest of Fnatic is just doing the dragon. TP's coming in again.
Poke from Avdage.
They might just reset this and give it and just take tier 1 top. honestly.
DP down from Dun, but yeah, you mentioned it. Poby already that pressure point. SK trying to force with a man advantage.
It does feel hard to fight this, to be honest. When Kasante's here and he's in front.
2-3 from Dun connects. Kadui walking up, Coling there too, and that's a big shutdown. Again, the plan was to just watch, but they get the Drake and now a kill to follow.
You know who needed that air horn?
Yeah, Razork needed the air horn.
I told you, it would have saved his life. It's not the end of the world. Sucks that he died. Honestly, that should have probably not happened. But at the same time, Fnatic, they do recognize that right now they're in a position where they have a power drop when it comes to their team comp. Kasante is there. If he's in front, he's extremely tanky. Realistically, Fnatic's team comp is spiking at 2-3 items. They did slow the game down a lot with the Herald and having one Drake. And now, standstill.
Yeah, and they're also more or less full AD, right? Yone does a little bit of magic damage, Ezreal does a little bit of magic damage, but it's pretty easy for Dun with a single armor item and tabbies to just be unkillable.
Full AP ima, okej?
Pa mislim, s tim buildom je flash. Ne volim kad mi ide to pa onda ide u tank, jer niti radi dovoljno damage, niti dovoljno tank.
Slažem se. Ali kako je krenuo, mislim da nema ništa od tankovanja.
Nema. Ali mislim da oni ne žele uopšte da igraju na engage, oni igraju na pick-off.
Yone and Ezreal can find a lot of damage.
Yeah. And if you're, and again, we highlighted it before with the calling, right? There's just not really, the tankiest member on your team, at least in terms of itemization, is Mickey, is your support, who's level 8. So even with, yeah.
Mada mislim, realno gledano u ovom kompu, tebi ni ne treba tank. Jer mimo Rakana koji dalje mora da utrči u tebe kako ekipa SK baca engage. Bardult za disengage, Maoka Yult za disengage, Ezreal i Jace koji su preko pola mape. Ja mislim da Fnaticu potencijalno ne treba tank u ovom gameu. Kako ti u mid late gameu, šta radiš?
Mislim, razumem tvoju pointu ovdje.
Abba keeping the pressure bot lane. No one has responded yet, so gold just being deleted, but it seems like the call from Fnatic is to at least.
Samo razmišljam da li postoji ikada.
You can see furious pings now coming out.
Ma ja mislim da ovdje bukvalno postoji ugao da ti igraš ovaj game da niko nikada ne engageuje na tebe, bukvalno da. Do kraja gamea. Fnatic može da igra tako da protivnik ne može da engageuje na njih, legit.
You need to look at it as an objective that doesn't really get one shot. It takes a lot of time. So realistically, all you need to do is that when the enemy team, or Fnatic in this case, they walk there to set it up, you just need to match it and slow it down a little bit, because right now it does seem like Abe is winning in isolation against
What if
Jace.
Instead of matching it and slowing it down, you just went all in on trying to take it yourself? TP top.
It is good because Jace just got chunked earlier. So now if they manage to do this and finish it earlier before Jace gets his base, which he does.
Getting lower, Loopy off the side, but they spotted the Rakan on the side. He tries to self Mikhail's, and he'll now sprint out to safety using his ultimate. The wall is
Dobro izbacio Eze iz fajta i sad dolazi Puk.
Wow, to je jako dobar barrel. Koliko... Oh my god, Miki! Oh my god, Miki! Miki, majstore! Kako je ovo bilo lepo! Kako volim bard igrače, joj! O, bože mili! Nice, Miki, hvala ti, vratio si život nazad u mene, vrate.
Goated iskreno, goated play.
Ovo je najbolje što Bard može da uradi. Ne znam da li je ljudima jasno koliko je teško tajmovati flash max range Q na ulti perfektno. Znači, to je za Bard igrača najlepša stvar koju možeš da uradiš. Prelepo, toliko mi je drago. Bravo, Miki. Miki je najbolji support u ligi. Approved by Real.
Odlično, drago mi je, slažemo. Pošto Alvaro ima svoje tekove.
Dobro, da, zaboravio sam, nisam ga gledao dovoljno onda sad od ovih internationala, pa sam kao zaboravio malo.
Znaš šta je problem, koliko Puk samo damage-a dolazi.
O, koliko mi je bilo drago ovdje vidim, bože. Sad će da kažem šta se ovaj loži. Idite braći u practice tool, probajte. Idite u silver, probajte ovo da uradite.
4600 golda u 23 minute, izgleda kao da Fnatic baš speedruna ovu seriju. Ne mogu reći, stvarno se ne žalim. Što se mene tiče i druga možda ode 2-0 brzo. All good, inače ljudi lajkujte stream. Ako lajkujete stream, bar ćeš jednom napraviti ovakav play do kraja gema.
I onda će da se dere.
I onda će Rale da bude jako hajpovan, tako da znate priču.
Thins and props to him for playing defensively here. He's managed to stop their play, and SK will get this T1 top, but I don't really think it's going to give them that much.
Nope. And setup for the next Drake is there for Fnatic, so we'll look to tie things up 2-2. Of course, Fnatic, we're already pulling ahead, but now a 5K lead. Massive experience difference between the teams as well. Because of the Audicon, the Flowers also giving you a lot of hidden stats. Really does start to add up, and now the decisions were already better, and now the champs are stronger.
Okay.
You know, time...
Mislim, timsko je relevantan jer Fnatic samo igra toliko dobro da nije ni važno.
Okej, neta.
Just a little bit of a whiff.
Just not good enough.
He did the math wrong, folks.
But yeah, as I was saying, now we're back to the point where I feel like...
Ulti?
The Poby goes in.
We're going to pull back. Getting chunked by Gdui, full calling into Poby, upset now, ready to step forward, but Loopy there to body block if needed. Doesn't get the Gleaming Quill heal, and now he's on the way out.
Just out of damage right now. I feel like even if you hit everything, the backline just doesn't have enough damage. We have Leandri and we have Seraphs on the Talia. I feel like it's just not enough damage, and Lucian, I still feel like he needs one more damage. Maybe on the IE, and when then Talia gets maybe a Void Staff or another big source of damage, that's when they can look to fight again. But right now, they need to dodge every single fight until they get one more item spike on the side of SK.
Also, just look at what Mickey's doing right now. Fnatic feels so comfortable in the game. This man is just walking around looking to cancel resets. He's just trying to find someone who's resetting in a bad spot to just get the littlest tempo advantage, which is
the power of Bard.
Is the power of Bard, and is insanely annoying to play against. Yeesh. Looking on Summoner Spells for Summoner Spellbook. Loopy does have the TP and the Cleanse, so could look to make another aggressive plays. Mikhail's is there too, but Fnatic just have so much control. They don't even have mid-push, they're just using man advantage to bully their way in topside, kind of dare SK to come contest them.
Yeah, it's definitely hard right now because now Mickey puts these wards down at any point. He can just base again and reset this while the rest of Fnatic is just holding this control. Oscar, curiously enough, he's opting to drop this tier 1 bot, but at the same time, this should be for Nasher to force a fight because...
Ovo što radi Mickey je zapravo maksimum koji može da radi jedan Bard u pro player.
Ne, prelepo, stvarno prelepo. Mislim, nema šta. Ekipa Fnatica očigledno jako spremna. Imali su malo problema i vidi se da imaju malo problema sa shot callingom još. Znači, nije to još full clean, očigledno nedostatak humanoida ih malo Ne želim da kažem da boli, ali skoro sam baš gledao, ne znam da si vidio Jensen da se retireovo. Otišao u penziju, onda su napravili klip i onda je on malo tako pričao o svojim iskustvima, svemu i svačemu. I ono što je dosta interesantno i to, eto, malo me vratilo na vreme, kada je Cloud9 benchovo Haja. I Cloud9 koji je bio prvi benchovali su Haj i pali su na zadnje mesto. I čak i Jensen rekao, kao ja kad sam došao...
Ja sećam Haja, koliko sam gotivio Haja zapravo.
Mislim, ja mislim da i dalje ima negde na YouTube-u se nađe Haj9. Haj kako shot calluje za Cloud9. Definitivno najlepša stvar koju sam ikada vidio u competitive gamingu. 4 igrača koja full ćute, lik koji sam vodi cijelu ekipu. Znači lik je bio ko dirigent za Cloud9. I to nije ništa hype, nije ludnica, znači full smiren.
Da, Haj je baš bio dobar igrač.
Nevjerovatan shot caller. I uglavnom onda je rekao i Jensen kao koliko im je trebao Haj i kad je on prvi put došao, kao počeli su da gube, onda su vratili Haja, stavili su ga na poziciju supporta, ako sećaš posle, samo da bi bio shot call, jedno se otišli su fazu na polufinale Worlds, ali tako nešto insane.
Da. Čekaj, Haj je roll slapovo i Huhi isto je roll slapovo i Huhi je igra 2 rola, ali tako?
Ja mislim da da. Znam za Haja sigurno.
Da, pošto su mi njih dvojica ostali slični su mi imena, pa sam ja mislio da Haj nije roll slapovo nego Huhi, ali stvari misle su bojici.
Haj je morao jer doveli su Jensena, dali su besne pare i bili su u fazonu Haj ne možemo bez tebe i ne bi fazonu ok, igraću supporta, tu sam do shot call-am i kako se on vratio, tako se ekipa preporodila. Ako se pitate što pričamo o Haju i Jensenu, djelimično zato što humanoid van Fnatica možda znači nešto slično, mada ne verujem. Kako sad izgleda, Fnatic jako brzo dolazi u svoju neku formu. A mislim, SK nema, oni moraju traži full hard engage-eve ovdje, inače ne mogu da igraju. Ako pusti da ih poka ekipa Fnatica, to je samo gotov game, tako da nema tu šta, mislim. Veliki shutdown, dosta golda, ali u Rakanove ruke, tako da nije baš pretjerano korisno.
When the Talia's ahead, it can feel so oppressive because there's so many angles of attack, there's so many opportunities, there's so many different potential walls, but when he's defending tier 2 like this, you're like, okay guys, there's one wall.
There's one wall.
Respect the one potential wall option that isn't completely unhinged and we'll be fine, and that's exactly what happened. So now, we're at the point where it's going to take a little bit of a fumble, I think, from Fnatic for SK to find a way back in, and for SK to, you know, I think that last
Pa iteme pobiju. 3,5 itema na ovom delu partije. 4000 golda je sama head.
I ponovo ono što sam pominjao prošli game. Evo ga sad, highest years in the game. To je ono što nam takvi igrači donose u ekipu.
A Nautilus or Real, and you know that even if you're 5k gold down or 10k gold down, you have enough tools and enough snapping gauge that you can just pull a win out of the jaws of defeat. But right now, it's just so telegraphed. Realistically, you have the Rakan that maybe can jump off of a Zinzao and find something. And I just feel like it's just so hard when you get the head and you have the saplings and you have the vision and you have Bart who can even play disengage if he chooses to.
Yeah, and I mean, you highlight it so beautifully, right? But just the bottom side of the map, you can see how little vision they actually had in the previous play. Fnatic now resetting, moving into the top side of the map to re-establish that vision, and there's just no angle, right? How many times have we seen supports in Europe find the crazy Rakan flank at 30 minutes? It's like, well, when you're this far behind, you have to do some crazy stuff and really honestly guess where the wards are to find those sort of angles. So there's no way Loopy can make that happen.
It requires a massive flank, and right now when you're
Ovo mi za sad deluje dosta dobro, tako da ja ću da se pravim mrtav i da navijam za Fnatic. Ali opet, više put smo pričali o tome da ne možemo baš da verujemo performansu protiv...
Protiv SK?
Da, protiv SK, zato što pričali smo već o tome kakvi su i šta su radili i da su gubili na cipiripi kupovima, tako da...
To je fair.
To je sportski žar.
Ne, što je način, to jeste cipiripi kup, realno.
Pa da se ne naljuti niko, samo sportski žar.
To je fair. Ali upravo je rekao da je pobi frižider.
Da, samo ću da...
Samo želim da napomenem našem chatu, pošto se žale da mi pričamo o random stvarima. Mislim, ne znam, pobi je frižider i Kvidić je najlošija igra na svetu, a jes. Tako da ima i toga. 4 sekundi. Ki odane? Niko to nije očekivao. I sad ulaziš u otrovne žirove. Zonja treći item, ko što smo rekli, ništa tankovanja, fali im AP, razork. Tačno. Već krećeš AP, završi AP i čao. Kao što smo rekli, tank ti ne treba. Okej, velika minimapa, maxi mapa da ne kažem.
A ne, report, molim vas chat, ako imate milosti, reportite ga. Molim vas chat.
Ne razumem, pa ne može...
Maxi mapa!
Pa ne može da bude minimapa toliko velika.
Miloše,
kako minimapa može da bude...
Molim te, ne možeš da se izvadiš od maxi mapa fore. Pa nemoj da se šalimo.
Odlično je bila, hvala puno.
U čemu je odlično bila?
Odavne me motiviše. Pobije frižider i mapa je maxi.
O bože, s kim ja radiš.
Au, to mi je rekao.
A šta da ti kažem?
Dobra fora kolega.
A šta da ti kažem, ovo ono što ti meni uvijek kažeš, sve dok je tebi smešno.
Tako je, vidiš, to možda mi kažeš što je ok, ja ću reći jeste, baš mi je bilo smešno. Jedino je SK, ovo nije smešno.
Baš ti zabrinjavajuće što ti nije smešno.
Što mi je smešno?
Baš ti zabrinjavajuće što ti je smešno.
Da, pa dobro, to je ok. Drago mi si zabrinut za mene. Cijenim taj vid mentalne podrške. Eto vidiš.
If the game doesn't end on this Baron, I would be a little bit surprised.
Okay, Dracos, is it really good news if it just survived for 5 seconds? It's just like the fakest of good news.
Yeah, I mean, you know...
Što je baci E i W, onda šta si uradio? 150 damage Oskaru i to je to, double inhi pada.
I mean, you need time to eat the meal, man. I don't know what you want from me. been a rough day for SK. Some good ideas in terms of composition.
Šta sad?
but
Šta
the
sad?
execution has not been there. And even if Fnatic have found some hiccups of their own, they've been able to outplay, outperform. Instantly, Skeens finds himself deleted. Abadage locked down. Q to follow up probably will do a good bit of work. Razork finding it as well. Knockback is there. Povey in the midst of the entire team. Exhausted means he won't be able to finish the game. Now Mikhail's out. Fnatic a slow but inevitable victory march down the bottom side of the map. It's another 2 kills.
Fenomenalno, fenomenalno. Koliko god izgledalo kada je bilo close po skoru i po tome što se nisu baš prebijali od batina, ja sam prezadovoljan. Sjajna ekipa Fnatica i ne toliko sjajan i ne toliko sjajan SK. 2-0, relativno brzih, Pobi čovjek igra clean sve vreme, samo sve vreme igra clean. Meni je to isto prelepo, pa ćemo da vidimo kako će se nastavi dalje. Mi imamo još jednu best of 3 seriju pred nama danas. Imaćemo verovatno malo dužu pauzu između te best of 3 serije, od nekih 15 minuta, tako da nakon toga naredna serija da vidimo da li će biti isti ovako speedrun.
Tako je, sljedeća serija Giants i Vitality. Giants su se pokazali relativno solidno protiv KC-a. Za ekipu Vitality još trebamo da vidimo, tako da svako idemo na pauzu. Tu smo za 15 i vidimo se u drugoj seriji dana.
No, you give it to the 80 carries. There are rules here. Supports aren't allowed to have a good time. Anyway, that's enough from us. Odo, congrats on your first cast. Congrats Fnatic on a quick win. We're going to take a quick break. And afterwards, we're going to have a nice, relaxing interview with Upset and Mickey X.
Hey Kia, let's see if you're a real fan.
I'm ready.
How many lanes are there in League of Legends?
There are 3 lanes in League of Legends.
Are you seriously quizzing the car about League of Legends?
Look, I just want to know how much it knows.
The EV3 has an AI assistant. It's supposed to know everything.
Okay then, hey Kia, how do I get better at League of Legends?
That will be challenging.
Red Bull gives you wings.
Does that expectation include you getting 2v2 killed by Kaduga and Loopy?
No, you did? No, it wasn't. It was like end of the skirmish.
Oh, it was on top side.
Yeah, but it was like part of the skirmish, you know?
That's it.
It wasn't laning, bro.
Oh,
they
actually count.
I didn't even know Ragnar's
coming out.
But yeah, it was an alright series. Got to play some Bard. That was fun.
Yeah. Yeah, actually, like this is the second series we've seen Poby play.
Yeah.
And would you say he has brought stability to the bouncy castle, or is it very bouncy?
Yeah, I would say so.
Yeah, I think he plays pretty consistent. I think he wants everyone in the team to play pretty consistent, like classic Korean, like very structured game style. So yeah, I think it brings some more stability.
Does that come natural to you guys? I just got information that Poby is player of the series. Yeah. An aquatic applause for Poby with a masterful yacht performance. Any words to comment on that? Do you feel robbed with your Bard?
Actually, I had a very good stand at the Herald, at the Atacam. That was crazy. My practice all worked out.
Yeah, you landed 3 Qs level 1 with electrocute pop to boot. That was very impressive, I thought.
I had to have a little giggle.
A little giggle or a big giggle?
Just a little bit.
Okay. Let's look ahead. Okay, so next series is GX versus Vitality. 2 very vocal bot lanes. We have Noah and Jun versus the Bio Fleshy and Carsey, do you guys have any opinion on that bot lanes? Who do you think is going to come out on top?
I would say Jun and Noah are a bit better, but I think both are pretty decent. Like nothing too crazy, but for sure very solid players. So I think it's going to be a close matchup.
Yeah, with you, Mickey?
I definitely agree.
And if you're aquatic inside, Mickey has grabbed a little boat.
It's sink. It's sink.
Is that a metaphor?
Yeah.
Okay. We're getting too silly in the pool. We're gonna throw it to the desk now, and they're gonna have some actual analysis. Enjoy the last side of Mickey in the pool. You're not gonna get it again, I think.
Pretty much.
Thank you so much, guys. It was lovely to talk again.
Likewise.
Likewise.
Thank you, guys. Actually, before we let them go, Mickey, I have one question for you. LS said that Buzio had the best bard in the West. Do you agree with that? Or do you have anything you want to say? Mickey had a point to prove. That's the reason he picked the champion.
Yeah, just in case people didn't hear that, he said, why do you think I picked that today? Yeah.
All right. Well, Ellis, you better watch. Thank you very much, guys. Amazing Finch review here. We're back for the second and last series of this week one. It's going to be GX versus a new version of Vitality with a new support. I know you were really hyped about this, Jack.
Yeah, I'm very excited. I like Fleshy a lot, played with him a lot in solo queue. He's a very nice guy. But also, I think it's a big upgrade for the team. Niski was
a big upgrade. You're just going to throw You're just going to hit this? Be like, no, I did the same thing. On Euphoria, they were asking me, like, well, who do you think the best mechanical upgrade in the league is? And I said, Fleshy, without a shadow of a doubt. Shout out to Niski. Obviously, still a big fan. We hope that he does well. But in terms of his support, he could lose you or win you a game. And it was very inconsistent as to which one he was doing. So we're hoping that Fleshy can provide some consistency, especially given that he is coming with a lot of engage-style play that we're expecting from him.
I also just think it matches up much better with Carsey. He's kind of like a Hylissang-esque player that he loves playing this engage, he loves playing very aggressive, and I think when Hylissang was at his, not at his peak, but when he was playing really well, him and Carsey was a deadly bot lane.
They certainly were, and I'm hoping to see that same level of synergy because what we've been hearing in the rumor mill is that Carsey is still the man to watch on this team in terms of scrim performance. It seems like he is the player that is popping off, and that's very much the type of Carsey that we love to see. He's an AD carry that is widely recognized as an incredibly talented AD carry, and competing against those top teams is what we want to see him doing. And against GX, I think that's going to be the start, because it's a very difficult bot lane that is going to be going up against, in that Noah and Jun have demonstrated how strong they are, given their strong performance today already.
And speaking of scrims, I mean, Giant X are the best team in the world, maybe. I mean, they have been dominating and kind of showing it. I mean, they've definitely shown glimpses of good performances. I mean, Noah and Jun especially, they're always the two for me to look out in this team, especially Jun. I know Mickey also holds Jun in a very high regard, and I think like Jun's Nico is just the best we have in Europe.
Certainly is, and I think that the fact that Noah, to me, is a very confidence-driven player. He's someone that when you give him the resources to be a carry, and when he is playing well and the team feels like they're playing well, getting a Pinnacle yesterday, even though they ended up falling short in the series, is just massive for the momentum of the team. And Jackie's came out and said himself that he thought that he played really poorly in Game 3. None of us were really a big fan of that Silas lock-in in Game 3, but it's that bot lane where we are putting so much of our focus in this matchup specifically, because we think that you already look at the first series today, you can see how impactful the bot lane really feels in the current meta. It is a very teamfight heavy meta with a lot more tanks on the top side. So eyes are going to be on that bot lane matchup to who can get the better performance on the day.
Is that what you expect, Jack, today from Vitality's bot lane as well? Knowing what we know from Fleshy, knowing what we know from what sets up Carsey usually, answering to those hyper-scaling bot lanes that we've seen and that GX has been shining on. What do you expect on Vitality?
I'd love to see more Yunara. I think this champion has so much potential.
Is that a Carsey champion?
I think it's a Carsey champion. I think it's very similar. Like, he had some great Sivir performances, and I feel like Yunara Sivir are very similar. And I'd love to see more Seri, Jinx, Aphelios, just these mega hyper carries that can really swing the game. I do think for Vitality, Nagnako can have a lot of explosivity in the top lane, but it's going to be bot lane that we're looking at.
So I wish I had more constructive analysis. My issue is that coming into the league, it's very hard for me personally to believe in Vitality.
Okay.
Because I am quite convinced and Dracos thinks I'm crazy for thinking this, but I'm convinced that Vitality is just in a way cursed. And I think that their organization, you build them up. And I mean, you don't even look at the stats on your screen. This year, Kazi has consistently gotten the better of Giant X, but where does that get them? Where does that get them moving forward in the league? And while I think that they can get the upper hand in these individual matchups, in terms of performance, in terms of consistency, it's hard for me to believe that this Vitality roster is suddenly going to deliver on that promise. And that's what, like, I feel like I've said it over and over again for Vitality for many years. They need to show me a level of consistency before I can even begin to believe in them. And that's why I'm very much in the Giant X camp coming into today's series.
More than consistency, I'm looking for stability in game. And in that sense, I believe that Fleshy can bring that, at least, being raid support, especially on those engaged champions.
I'm not looking for stability. I'm looking for craziness.
No,
I want to see
not Vitality crazy, Jack.
But when Carsey goes crazy, that's when he's unleashed and doing the good things that we love him for. And it's Giant X that they're playing against. It's not a top team. It's a team that's also been struggling with inconsistency. So I want to see mechanical plays from Knock. I want to see Carsey going crazy. Fleshy, like, all you got to do is give me some good engages. That can't be that hard.
The mid-game, they just fall apart, Jack. And they've been doing it for years, man. They've been doing it for goddamn years. I don't want chaos anymore. I want Korean-style League of Legends. I want slow, calculated, methodical. I want Vitality to show me a new breath of fresh air, one that is calm, cool, relax.
So what I hear is Vitality needs to stop speaking English. Might be difficult to do, honestly, here. On the side of JX, one last time. Given what we saw from them yesterday, what is the first improvement that you expect from the team?
Oh, for me, it's their transition from their early to mid game. Their lane swaps were fantastic. Their ability to build an early advantage, I think, was a great demonstration from them. And I think is also why they were doing so well in scrims. Their ability to build this early lead definitely translates from what they've been practicing. The problem is when you get into that mid game, it seems that the coordination just seems to be a little bit off. But to me, they have shown some good promise to start off the split.
Eyes on Isma?
Yeah, for me, Isma has been the biggest improvement. Just from his start in Giant X, where he looked very lackluster, getting better and better, making the team play more around him. I think that's been key for how they've been looking at least decently strong in the league.
Yeah, and GX need this win if they want to cement themselves as the top team. They want to believe they are. They are the Scream Gods for now, but it's time to prove it on stage once again against this revamped version of Vitality. Take it away, guys.
We are good at taking away. We can do that, don't worry, because Vitality's debut now finally starts out here in the LEC on your very last series. Myself and Dagda are going to take you through exactly that. And there might be Scrim Gods, but yesterday they showed us their first face. And I feel like there was like, oh my God, the early game, wow, Giant X. And then it was revisiting what we talked about last year, which is falling off a cliff.
Yeah, I do think we can definitely see the improvements from Giant X. So like, Jack was already talking about it in the desk there. Like, I think Isma was the big factor there. He looked fantastic in the early stages of game 1 and game 2. But it is, as you said, Jake, the second you got to the mid game, it was individual mistakes, overstepping, and that really kind of let the ball slip out of their fingers and gave KC that opportunity to come back into the game.
I feel like it's much like Riftbound, right? Like, you know, you really want something and you're trying and you're putting it in your cart, but then
you try to speak from experience,
and then it just doesn't go to it just doesn't purchase. You know, I really want the cards.
Yeah. Yeah. So basically, there's a pure panic in the back because we've now realized Riftbound is able to be purchased, and every one of the casters trying to get it. And
and we're trying. We're trying. And I don't know if anyone else. Why does Jackies have the security baton?
Yeah, I was gonna say. Yeah.
Why has he got the metal detector?
I feel like the person that's checking should not be on the team.
Yeah,
I feel like that's,
not.
you know, we'll see. But either way, like, I'm excited to see what Vitality can bring to the table. I think for guys like Knock and stuff, they really did step up as they try to come into the first year. So
yeah,
I want to see if they can keep it going now in summer.
I can agree with you, and especially with the debut, that man down beside Jun, who was also hugging Kazi. It's a good thing to see if you like the bonding of Vitality, especially with how close they came at the end of last split. At last year, we were promised so much, but Vitality failed to deliver time and time again.
But now they have a promising support. Fleshy stepping in. I'm looking forward to seeing what this man can do. He's definitely played a lot of Rel, played some Senna as well, coming in from Spring, so definitely a versatile champion, but I'll say even willing to bring out things like the Elise and that. So I'm curious if this is going to be the revitalization that Vitality needs, just having someone that understands where to be on the map, understands the support role being a domestically supported player, I'd say. Like, it's our local region, you know?
Yeah.
So, I'm hoping that it'll bring a lot of life to this Vitality roster.
I mean, again, you can see full of vitality himself, right? Like smiles on his face, and for Fleshy coming over, recently saw him in EMEA Masters and watched this guy and how he's grown throughout the year. It is nice to see again another promotion that you can really hope, much like players like Nucko on the team, you know, like Chayek as well, that can step up to the plate. It took them a couple of splits, but now promising rookies that have cemented themselves in the league. Let's go. We're about to go into pick ban here for your final series. GX have already played, and unfortunately it wasn't the best start, but again, we talked about their early game. How can Vitality get in the way of that as we look at GX?
I ide draft gema broj 3 danas. Prvo gema naravno u seriji broj 2. Vidjet ćemo šta će se
moj kolega.
Tako je, matematika, quick maths. Tu sam ja, vidjet ćemo, nemam pojma, iskreno. Ne znam što da očekujem od ove dvije ekipe. Mimo što, eto, Giantsi stvarno bili su ok protiv KC-a, to je sve što mogu da kažem.
Mogu da se složim s tobom. Da, i ti si rekao, mislim ono što si mi rekao je da su bili solidni i da ti smatraš da su oni ona ekipa koja je kao dobra na početku sezone.
Mislim, obično čokuju na play-offu, tako da vidjet ćemo da li će se to opet dogoditi, da li će do toga doći. I možda im samo odgovara i ovaj split, ovo što su podeljene grupe i sve ostalo. Što je isto legitimno.
Yeah, now on the opposite side, I think you can still take the Pantheon here if you really want to, or just go for the Vi. Kasante immediately on the other side. Wow, okay, so very different priorities from what I was expecting. Like, Pantheon is kind of the big picks for me on this on the jungle path, especially with like Wukong gone and the Trundle also taken away. But going for the tree, trying to set up for just a strong front to back, and maybe looking at yesterday's games and going, hey, if we can just play for late game scaling, wait for Giant X to misstep, maybe we've got a shot in that.
Well, for Giant X, it looks like they are going to what I would
call solid plan.
Stand front to back. Sejuani with Azir, with Ambessa to lead the charge. Like, those picks on 3 are really straightforward.
Yeah, and I think they give you a lot of power as well, especially Ambessa, when it comes to the later portions of the game, can be an absolute menace in the side lane, which I think is where Giant X really stepped up for me in their series yesterday. Like, they had a really good understanding of where they needed to be, how to teleport, where to be positioned on the map, and if you can lend that in...
Vidjet ćemo kako će... Da li će Vitality pronaći nešto što će da ih izvadi malo. Ja generalno ne položim neke preterane nade u roster, ne mislim da su dobra ekipa, ali... Vidjet ćemo. Ne mora nužno da znači da je tako.
Legitimno, mislim, ne znam, ja ne očekujem previše ni jedne ni druge. Ali... A nikad se ne zna, vidi, iz sezone u sezonu možda neki igrač samo pop-offuje, možda neko imao dobar off-season. Giantsi, ne znam, Isma je, recimo Isma je sam bacio Game 3 Giantsa protiv KC-a. Igrao je Trundle, bio je prefidan, došlo je do late game-a i on je bukvalno uleteo u njihovu džunglu. Na najrandomi vid s Trundlom, bio uhoćen na poziciji i izgubio game.
Znaš da smo i ti i ja pričali na IBL-u, da je pitanje, što mi ne kažeš čoveče da mi je loš mikrofon, bre?
Pa ne znam da li puniš mikrofon ili ne, pa zato.
Pa punio sam pauze, stavim da se puni tokom pauze, pa odstavim kad odstavim. Pa prestanem da ga punim kad treba da uđemo u program.
Ok, ja sam samo mislio da kao puniš mikrofon, pa rekao nema veze ko čiloš puniš mikrofon, šta se radi. Mora i to neko.
Ne bi voleo da se čujem ovako, tako da sad bi trebalo da je dobro, jel da?
Da, sad krenj.
U suštini, hoću da kažem da je pitanje koliko je Trundle uopšte u mogućnosti da sam lead snowballuje kao takav. Interesantno je da i on je sad jednom kao opet priority.
not as sure on the.
Nekad je bio, nekad nije bio.
I think Lucian still is a champion that kind of requires a lot of setup, and I do like it with the Maokai. But I think when I've kind of looked at like a Cassante and a Maokai, I would have liked something that's a bit more of that consistent DPS. When I think a Lucian, it's like you throw it at Colleen, and obviously you are an AD carry, you have some consistent
Colleen?
DPS. It can be difficult to try and play that short range AD carry.
Yeah,
it's more of a Colleen boss to a certain extent in my eyes.
It's a great point because he's committal, right? Like Lucian has to be there, and as you said, short range. Which means something like the Corki maybe would have fit, or something like Ezreal
would have,
also up when you consider the only tank is that jungler for now with a bruiser in the mix. Front to back for GX is going to continue though, and yeah, look, they've got the options. They pick any AD carry they want here. They know they're probably going into an Alistar, but Alistar with Lucian, maybe not. Brom. Dag did the last one up in a Velvet for GX. They've got range themselves. What a front to back, simple. As a Vitality have to round this out with this.
Okay, Lucian Brown.
Corki was something
Kevin
that
Ameti.
consistently against no in his first series as well. So something that he going to be happy to get his hands on. So overall, you're kind of looking at Vitality, and it is kind of culling for a poke alongside the Ziggs poke, and then hoping you can try and play for this lockdown kind of kite back as well, buying space with Brom and his ultimate. The
Koji draft ti se više sviđa?
And disengage in the same breath. I think you've got.
Meni se više uvijek sviđa tip drafta s kojim ide Vitality, iskreno nećete lagati. Nema to nikakve pretjerane veze sa njima ovako, više ima veze sa mnom, zato što ja volim draftove koji su malo bolji early i koji imaju malo bolji pick-off. Mislim da sa ovoliko scalinga koliko ima Giant X rizično je da možda izgube, a mislim da imaju dosta načina da... Pogotovo što recimo Ziggs isto ume da bude naporan, ne znam, eto recimo sad me zanima kako će Ziggs da performa, ja ga nisam gledao, ne znam da li juče igram možda.
Iskreno ne mogu setiti, mene zanima što će Maokai da radi kad ima Ziggsa, jer mislim da onda stvarno nije ugod ideš full AP. Imamo Gilioto, intervju.
Thanks so much. I'm standing by with Gyoso. Gyoso, like the draft seems relatively simple, relatively straightforward, you know, front to back. I want to talk a little bit more about the team's mentality coming into this weekend because on social media, you guys have been very public about scrim results. You've been very public about your expectations for the split. Do you think you're putting a lot of weight and expectation on your players, and could that possibly backfire?
I don't think so. If I thought, then we wouldn't be doing it, obviously. I think that for us, even if we speak of scrims, it's not something that we take with the mindset that just because we are doing good that we'll do it on stage. We are very aware of the problems that we had before of translating it into stage as well. So yes, it didn't affect us as much. We knew that we were coming as underdogs. We were public about that as well. And today we think that we should be favorites to win, and scrim results do not win us the game, and we don't think they do.
That has kind of been historically what's happened.
Ne znam, meni isto pre-game, to jest in-game coach intervju jako čudan koncept.
I mean, we didn't play day one. We played.
Jer kao realno sve što te zanima ne smiješ ga pitaš.
But not really. There's not much.
Pa da, kao nije praksa.
We played 24 hours ago. We trust in our prep for both series. So what we had thought before against Vitality is what we are doing today as well.
Neće dobiti odgovor. Čak i da ti odgovorim, neće biti ono što ste.
Tako je.
Thank you, Medic. Good insight. I mean, again, yes.
Ja sam baš imao dosta situacija tako da radimo te pre-game intervju da kao nešto me specifično zanima, ali...
Znam da neću dobiti odgovor.
Ali to je, i onda neću da pitam i kao šta mislim... Kao specifično me zanima razlog nekog pika za neki pik ili šta god, ali... Kao ja sebi ne bi odgovorio, ja sam coach. To je ono što me to pitaš. Tako da...
Dagger, it seems quite simple. I said it last time, like a GX's comp. It's a nice way to start your series with something so simplistic, right?
Yeah, and I think it should set them up nicely because
Lot ide na ruke.
Ease of not only execution in team fights, but how you want to try and set up this early game as well. Like Isma can try and play for top lane if he wants to, but realistically, it's going to be trying to play for I think Noah and Jun and trying to play around this Corki and get him going. And I think Isma really did step up yesterday. Like the series against KC could have been a Giant X win. Game 1 and Game 2, they were firm in the lead.
Bukvalno komentator upravo pričao ono što si izgovorio pre sekund. Nije sekund, ali pre 2 minuta.
You can see at the bottom of your screen, individual missteps that came in game number 1 that gave KC that opportunity to come back into the game. And game 2, much cleaner. They were able to take home the win.
Game 3?
But, so I think they were a bit heartbroken with the way game 3 opened, where they just couldn't get their footing right. But it was so close to being Giant X taking that series over KC.
I što nisu? A nećeš da kažeš, dobro. Samo pitam. Samo proveravam. Nije bilo do izme koje je izgripao, to ne sme kaže. Mislim, mogo je da hintuje, da kaže bile su neke individualne greške, ovo ono.
To radimo ti ja.
Tako je, no toxic, samo facts.
VTO was also on that roster, if you remember him, and Vertigo are from top. So,
Veteo.
he's really come in with a big force.
Znate vi koliko godina Veteo, to nema nigdje.
To fill in the gaps where that team was obviously looking for something different.
But I think it's just the expectation of, hey, we've got someone who's used to the role. The fact, it is very easy to look at the support role and say, oh, well, you don't really need hands to do the things that you have to do. It's more about having an understanding of where you need to be in the map. What is the enemy support doing? How can I interact with the different laners? What are my timing
Dobro,
windows?
Ziggs je nešto što će biti pikovano i na midu možda, a uglavnom smo ga poslije vreme gledali nade carry osim ako ne igra apa. U Azira više nego dobro.
Yeah, and I think this will make him a little bit more vulnerable if it ends up
Jel treba mi ovaj take notes mogu kut.
Ima i dobrih.
Starting to get that reset in, they could go top here, and especially as you start to look towards the potential for dives and other things like that where the lanes are mismatched, that just makes Nako so much more vulnerable in that regard.
Also, giving Ambessa a free way to scale towards that Eclipse always feels nice, as early on feels like Ambessa's weakness really lies in the fact that she can't get a lot of her spell rotation down. Huge cooldown windows and
Ima oko ide na full AP opet. Interesantno, moram da priznam.
And for Giant X, well, my thoughts are going everywhere, Dagda. You can talk now.
Yeah, you're good. It is, sometimes it is those days. But yeah, I agree. I think it's the fact that Ambessa can...
Ima Xantea, do duše, gdje je fajno, da je samo Lucian. Taj koji je malo više pritiska jer on drži većinu damage u svojoj ekipi. Što bi trebalo malo manje armor da dođe s druge strane.
Now that it's actually Vitality that've gone for the mismatch with sending Karzi and flashing up towards that top side, this and you've got the Sejuani coming down to the bot lane, Nako has to be very careful. Now he's in a decent spot, his wave is kind of frozen here underneath the tower, it will get shoved in, but this is where you could end up with the potential for some sort of dive if Nako gets chipped out.
Phosphorus Bomb does hit, so closer towards that goal. There's half HP, but now moves to level 6, but Giant X already started the Dragon, and with the Rel by the side, Permafrost not too far off as Lot steps in, but it's just a sledge out, so he's going to survive for now. Level 6 off the back of this wave as well to punish a mistake.
And that's why he's stepping up so far. He's just trying to get in range, use that shield to get to the experience ring to make sure that he's able to pick it up and try and hit 6 as soon as possible. Because you can see he is quite substantially far behind Nako, just with the way the wave has been. But now with that crash, there are a few members of Vitality on that top side if they want, and yeah, you can see there, Giant X kind of realized that there's some members missing, teleporting Jun in to make sure no sort of dive can happen, and Lot can actually pick up that CS without any trouble.
Ovako se da lane'uju, mora da backa, kad Korki backa što je sad.
Yeah. 3 minions left for the share onto Jun, hit 6 before it, but doesn't fall behind at CS because
Jun, po mom mišljenju, otkad je došao u Lec igra solidno, nekada gore, nekada bolje, ali tu je.
A mislim, on je došao split posle Nuaja, a bio je sa njim i u RLO, tako da... Definitivno mislim da ono... Ostali su zajedno, imaju lepu sinergiju.
Yeah, I think it is a good call out on the experience difference between the two top laners, those there, because that is going to be kind of the main focus. So, because Nako was able to get the wave and catch it just as it hit his third, he ended up picking up way more of that CS. So Lot is a little bit behind, even having to burn the TP to try and catch the wave hasn't really evened that out. And it means that in the future...
Če fan ako Vitality dobije lead, Ziggs kada je Head jako zabavan heroj za gledanje, jer pogotovo nakon ovih buffova iz Basic-a, to jest ono, iz passive Basic-a i SEW-a uzimaš kulu, što je jako zabavno za gledati. Baš ne smiješ mu daš lead, ako dobijem mali momentum je napeto.
Smite steals from support have been talked about quite a lot. We are in 25-15 though, so remember the smite steals from supports are down to 900, but you have to get that third smite to get 900. The second one is still worth only 600. It is meaningful when, again, like, they're always going to be behind the curve. It is a nice change of life, I feel like. 1200 for a support smite, I think, was a bit too much late game.
Vitality here in a decent position. Have to be careful of Jun looking for a big engage, but the ultimate from...
Ovo Vitality imaju. Ali sad je samo pitanje šta radi sa... moraju da pusti. Ovim Muleus.
With a second, really nicely done, but he gets ulted on the way out. Nature's Grasp going to be sent to return though. Twisted advance onto Jun, and there's a bit of poke, but not much damage yet. Vitality playing with fire as Giant X are going to get what's left. One grub for two, no one dies.
Yeah, Chayak was very low on mana, so they weren't really able to try and take that fight. If he'd had a bit more in the tank, you try and play for the choke point, and that's where your Ziggs and your Maokai ultimate can really pop off. But when he was just so low, there just wasn't really any chance. Fleshy just hovering around here to make sure Chayak can clear the wave, and now should be able to match the reset.
Okay. And so with two grubs, I mean, for Ziggs as well, let's not forget, while you're still going to get the might spawn, you're not getting the feet to add towards the lift. There's Chayak. Oh, he a satchel charge.
Lepo.
Flash puts the minefield down, but Fleshy turns it into a bait.
Basic. Vratio si na basic. Koliko little tempo znači u ovim situacijama.
Da. Tempo baš vadi priču.
Get the kill. As long as Isma can freeze this wave, which he's been able to, you're going to be fine. So Jackies gets the kill. The kill on Vitality side goes to Fleshy, and you're still going to be able to pick up a large portion of this wave. So Jackie's pretty happy with the way that one turned out.
But Chayak, I think he got surprised. Like the satchel charge was used as Jackie's came in and swept through with a swoop and boop, as you call it. Double TP, but Isma's here
swoop and boop?
Onto Chayak again.
Swoop and boop.
Going to connect Chayak. Oh, disrespect part 2.
Pa dobro.
Jackie's with 2 kills on an
Pa dobro, Chayak.
Cheering.
Okay.
It's gonna sting. The fact that you hadn't gotten the full item completion Jackie's already has, and then you TP back in, and now you're falling further behind, is absolute disaster in the mid lane. This Ziggs...
Mislim, Azir ne bi smeo da počne sa 2-0 Ziggs matchup, ili da?
Nikako, apsolutno nikako.
2-1, ali mislim da kilo.
Ne bi trebao dobio momentum uopšte.
Baš mi je feel
jer onako možda ga run down, a to je...
Ti si rekao, ti si pričao o Ziggsu koji potencijalno dobije momentum zbog toga kakav je sad nov, koliko može da abuzuje taj momentum. Ali, nažalost... Ovo ne izgleda tako baš najbolje.
Again, as you said, the nice lead in the mid is going to help out, but this is what we were talking about already, right? Vitality have set it up where Nako is now back on that top side with the TP advantage, so I think they're going to be looking to try and play for the Nako teleport in, so he can look for the place, look for the recess off the back of this as well, and then hold that TP if he needs.
Mislim kad lot što on ide na Eclipse-u Black Cleaver u Xante matchup, u nekom trenutku bi trebao da može se trade s njim efektivno. Ne znam baš koliko će moći da gubi jer Xante kad ulta samo dobije previše damage-a. A Ambessa jednom kad baci sve cooldownove malo ima taj gap gde Xante možda je prebije.
Dalje ne mogu da procenim baš na kom mestu mi Ambessa ili kako.
Čudan.
A tree beard to the right and double dragon for Giant X early game, very much locked in.
Yeah, the mid gap too much on the push, and also that Karzi losing a ton of health. But Fleshy wants to go forward here.
Good shattering strike though. Karzi at half HP. This is a nature's grasp, but will it do anything? Culling in the way. Noah stands his ground. It's a good glacial vision.
Oh, Jordan.
He was weird and he died. On top of that,
feels bad.
To contribute anything more in Vitality. Get a kill for their troubles.
Yeah, the ult from Jun was to try and CC Karzi, so he shouldn't get that last auto attack to guarantee the stun, but unfortunately just ends up flashing away, so burns the ult, burns the flash, and doesn't get much out of the back of it at all. And Vitality got to be happy with that one on the bot lane.
Especially going over to Karzi as well, from what I could see. The earlier kill, the trade went over to Fleshy through the mid lane. This one goes to Illusion in need as Nuck are going to be bullied again. He has his flash up, but the problem this time is he's got an Iceborn Gauntlet, so he's not going to be able to do what he once did.
Still just going to use that pressure now to get some vision in onto this top side. No red buff to try and contest, but I thought they'd just try and get... Yeah, Jun should be able to come through here and get the vision.
Jako je čudno sa nekog gledaš klec. Ove dve ekipe mi se čini trenutno da su jako even na sredini tabele. Ako to ima smisla.
Da, možemo se složiti. Da je ovo je mid-table derby.
Čak i globalno, ne samo nužno vezano za grupu u kojoj se nalaze, jer kao što smo rekli, split jeste malo čudan. Pa dobro, ovdje ga prodaju svako i TP dolazi, sve investirano.
Da.
Yeah, Locke going to be able to actually keep Shayak away from this top wave as well. So while this was all going on in the invade, there was a push in mid where Noah got some mid plates and actually got a good chunk of gold for himself. You end up getting this.
Da, je, ove dve ekipe su na sredini, bukvalno. Baš se vidi ono da su tu.
Pa even. I čak su ono slične kvalitet, kada god je neko našao nešto. Šta je ovo? A ovo recimo ne sme se događa ovako, baš je slopi. Ma dajde, okej, početak je sezone, verujem da su obe ekipe i dalje u periodu vraćanja u malom formu za official i slično. Prva nedelja se u vodu baca, tako kažu, zar ne?
Da, prva nedelja u vodu može. To stoji. Prva nedelja se u vodu baca. Tako da ne, cijel kalendar bacim za svaki slučaj.
To je.
Da.
Znao sam ja da si ti čuo za tu izjavu.
Čak i u moje vreme je bila popularna, tako da to ti dosta govori. No a Trinity...
There is at least some kind of trade. I think that's important. Yeah, and a lot of that is kind of how the TPs have been used, right? You saw Nako initially, as you say, TP bot to pick up the wave, and then lot TP top to try and get into that play, which means Nako, who'd actually TP to the wave, was just continuously getting the CS in this farm. So I think...
Da, mislim, Jackies, ukoliko bude imao formu kakvu ume da ima, kako je pokazao da ume da ima, ovo bukvalno može da bude njegov game.
Very quickly underway, but I mean, you're looking at Jackies and he's huge.
Nako's going to get something back though. 3 minions in the way, but not enough auto damage as he might have to end up proxying this wave.
Such Čajek.
Now the turret's gone. Lot isolated. Ulti's back.
Ah! What? What?
Ovo
nema šanse da je bilo namjerno. Mislim, očigledno su obojica unstoppable i završili su tamo gdje su krenuli, kao što...
Tako je. Malo je... cringe mehanika, ali to...
Mada, Ziggs. Up. 2 kule na botu. 15
I on je sad doprineo svojoj ekipi sa ovoj lead koji je Azir.
Da.
Napravio malo tene.
Ziggs i herojko.
And they should be able to get another charge off of this here. Reset's coming through for the Dragon in 40 seconds, and all they really wanted was to make sure they could get the tier 1, so now when they come back out onto the map, they can push that wave in further and move across the Dragon. But here, it's just a good roam from Chayek, gets the tower down with the satchel and then the immediate follow-up, but it's...
Bene, Ziggs je neverovatan, bukvalno je neverovatan.
Making that one a little funky, but I think Lot needed just try and commit for the kill on Chayek. Maybe he could have got us, or at least got Chayek low, maybe burnt a summoner, but trying to escape, there was just too many members down there.
In the end, trying to use Ziggs in any way they can at this point, because Vitality, this early game has been gifted over to Jackies, but now finally we get that fight. It's the 3rd Dragon, and you know, we've talked a lot about teleports here, Dagda, but both top laners are nearby. This is going to be a walk-in for a 5-on-5 in the pit.
I think both sides want to kind of hold off for a second. Ultimates on the top laners, not fully there. Nako's just come off. Lot is just momentarily off of it, and he's even looking for a flank position on this bottom side. So Vitality getting corralled a little bit here.
But they need to land some poke themselves. It's Chayek versus this Corki in Azir as Kazi walks into Isma. Re-engage!
Dobro, i dalje, Azir je fine.
So easy for Jackies is eventually has the flash, but he's ready to re-engage himself. Nako, the tank, discoordinated with the rest of his team as the poke continues to land from Noah. And Vitality, that's not even a team fight, that's just different places at different times.
I mean, good positioning from Giant X. They came in at multiple different angles, making it difficult for Vitality to really set up a choke point or one area where they could focus all of that AoE and crowd control. We'll get to see it in the replay, but a fumble from Vitality and Giant X. They pounce onto Karzi and finish him off.
Previše su even, bukvalno su previše even dve ekipe. Rale još malo gotov na Jackiesu, tako da neko zna da build Azira.
Neko znam da bi lazira.
Drugi item još pogotovo što mislim da ove tenkove onog Santeja, čekaj malo kako je build up i u bravama jako lako može da, oh my god, strelice, lako možda stakuju i država little tempo što je dosta cool.
Vitality never get that front to back that they really want to, where they can open up with a culling, where they can open up with the satchel and the mines to just keep people in place and get that poke down. And so it was a nice setup by Giant X to kind of, as Vitality are going back, to get these different flank angles, but also a bit of mispositioning from Karzi. He really needed to be positioned in over by the blue buff with the rest of his team.
Bit of column A, column B though, I think. Further to your point, how that collapse worked from Giant X was clean, and we were complimenting them yesterday. Well, no, I wasn't. I was doing that at my desk chair at home. But the compliment from yesterday was how well their early game came together, like their map movements, their first 15 minutes, even these first 20 have been really clean. And I think as a macro, you know, the masterminds, as far as they go,
Jettis čeka da umru kripovi koliko toliko, mali deny, 3 kripa, 3 kripa, 45 golda, što da ne?
Ova fora, recimo, može da vam bude dobra za solo queue. Ako ste bolji od nekoga, ako ste solo laneri, bolji ste u sidelineu, nekom denajovati par puta po par kripova pre nego što uzmete kulu, može da napravi wave advantage 200 golda plus.
Što realno nije malo. Realno nije malo.
Da je malo. To je puška.
Giantsi imaju sol za 3 minuta ako se odigraju kako treba. A s ovako jakim mazirom stvarno bi bilo čudno da se to ne dogodi.
Just trying to get his own red buff away. He will succeed in that, but Isma doesn't take too much damage, and Chayak does not have his second item here. And for this Ziggs, needs to work towards that Rabadon's, that third item. You know, before this poke starts becoming exceptional. Tanks are already tanking up. That's Isma there, who can stand here, free of charge, with Jun by the side with the crashdown.
Okej, flash i greška.
U redu, što bi se reklo, u redu.
A šteta je zato što Vitality da ne greše ovako, pogotovo i čak i Flash su baš pravili grešaka. Ako ne bi grešili, toliko Ziggs mogao da pravi više stvari na mapi. Ziggsov problem je kada kroz greške ovako sitne gubiš tempo i on ne može kroz tempo da kompenzuje. Da napravi crossbar play koji je tempo even i slično. Sjetite se kako je TL maltene namučio T1 prethodni Worlds, kako što je AP igra Ziggsa.
Da, Azri Harry samo što mora dodam jer Adi Carry dobio batine.
Da, ali Adi Carry mu je ušao realno u mele, znači ne sme, sa Rylajom. Realno zaslužuje da umre.
Vidi, igraš Lucijana, ne možeš da uđeš Aziru u range, a da te vojnik ne bode kopljem.
Da, ali je takav je heroj.
Čak i na Soldier spawnu ne mora da extenduje s Q-om. Kao Azirov Soldier spawn range je dovoljan da Lucija nastavio Rylaj.
Evo ga Adi Carry igraš.
Dobro,
counteru je Azir Lucijana, okej.
Recimo, svakog Adi Carrya koji nije... Svakog Adi Carrya, šale se svakog Adi Carrya. Vidi, on je samo išao da vidi šta ima i onda je dešovo bez razloga i onda je umro.
Čini mi se da se nešto krije u tom dešovu bez razloga, ali ne vidi se pravim pametan.
Ne, taman posle, samo se malo se dešava da vidi jel mu radi na tastaturi pre nego što krene fight. Jer mu je jako bitno dugme. Znaš, najgori slučaj saznašti ne radi je usred fajta. To nije dobro.
It still ends up being flashing going down. It's a trade for Isma alongside cards he would already fallen.
While it is granted that Isma does go down, it's nice. The kill doesn't go to that Ziggs. That Ziggs who was the option into the Azir. I talked about it LPL at the start. Like, it's seen as a nice matchup, something that can scale alongside. And obviously the wave clear is immense, but he's down a full item. Now just gets his void stuff. So Chayak is getting there with his second. But Jackie's is almost onto his third.
But you can see how crucial it is for a Ziggs to be positioned well, right? And the fights that we've seen thus far has not really been Vitality able to set up that defensive wall to enable a Ziggs to just poke and be safe. Like positions like this, these chokes could be good, but
like a prison, Lincer sends out the Nature's Grasp and it does something to disengage, but now it's a fight for the Gromp. Kazi at half HP as well. Note the HP bar is going to be healed up as Fleshy moves to smite.
Loss on the side. Chayak now in a position that he can actually follow up, but with
Tanci imaju dovoljno prija sad, mislim prija kao Oni kao pojava iziskuju priority. Ono što je dobro kad imate tanka, ali pravog tanka, nema okaja, ovog normalnog tanka, je to što kada odete head on može mnogo lako da pređe. Čekaj, on Jun!
Jun.
Oj, kako je ovo bilo lepo.
Da Jackie nije zaustavljen ovdje da je mogao da poklopi Fireman, bilo bi jedan od lepših fajtova koje smo videli.
Definitivno, ali ovo mi je potpuno fajn.
But they've got Isma, they've got enough health to start up Dragon again.
They have no TPs to go back, so they have to try and force it now. They're trying to get into the pit.
And the big one hit, Knock with the flash, it's nice, and gets rid of the
dobar.
divide. He survived, clutch.
Dobro, Linkas ne znam gdje si išao s tim, ali ajde.
At full HP, runs into 3, he's stunned up there.
Ali otpad. Znam je da su svi low, ali... Nije optimalno bilo, nema veze. Dobili su kill, dobili su Drakea, dobili su Soul. Giants najvjerovatnije uzimaju game 1.
Because they had 2 smites and hoped that one of them was able to succeed, but not quite. But great engage from Jun in this one. And again, if you had the Maokai ultimate here, maybe you could turn this around as Vitality and hope to play into this choke point, but you just don't have the tools available. They have to disengage. They try to come back from a different angle here, and sure, they end up getting one off the back of it, but this was nice from Naknako, flashing forward, the unstoppable to get him safely out of the pit, but Linces tries to get in, Smite isn't there, it's still got 2k HP, and then Loss TPing back in, forces the rest of Vitality away.
I was just watching Jun in that fight as we come back to live and Shayak is caught out again. Isma's just everywhere. This must be so frustrating. Isma's
dobar carry. Ziggs behind, mislim Blackfire Void ima ono, baš nije preteći Ziggs.
Da, baš je onako kako izgleda na mapi mali Zeka sa bombicama.
Yeah, this is nigh on impossible now for Vitality to try and contest.
Ništa, sad dropaš Ataka, verovatno dropaš i Barona i onda si dropao game, ali dobro, imaš vremena pričaš o sljedećoj partiji ako ništa drugo. Tako da to je nešto, valjda, nemam pojma.
Giant X controlling this space, Atakan should be theirs, and with zero vision as to where the rest of Giant X is, Vitality can't commit to either side of the play.
And with an almost 3 item Azir, you know that it's easy to chain this right into a Baron. Not much damage taken because Isma's tanking up Atakan, so that'll fall. Giant X now getting frisky in the top side of the jungle. See what else they can find. Jun with the engage, it's great. Again, the Magic Storm holding Vitality in place, but no follow-up damage from Vitality. Flesh is trying to disengage.
Ovdje i dalje, čak razmišljam realno nije ni važno kakav je fight, već su Giantsi dovoljno ahead.
A Baron is now open available. It seems to be a constant play from Giant X. Get the pick, go for the objective, and Vitality have to keep running though.
And look for Naknako, the target in the way. Teleport right into the middle of the wave. Isma cutting off the escape path. Naknako, he's getting shredded as well. Noah sends out the Gatling gun, and that is it. Onto Linces, a new target.
Taki u problemu, dobro.
Giant X now playing with their food. 5k up in the lead, and Baron is next to fall.
Dobro, sad je to potpuno. Baron je sljedeći, uzeli su sve što im treba.
John is coming over all these walls, getting the CC that you need, and Lot, every time you're trying to fight on one part of the equation, Lot is coming in with public execution and threatening the backline consistently, opening up this giant divide between the front and back line of Vitality. And now Fleshy, you've got Smite, but I don't think you have a hope in hell of getting into this one.
It's been a rough game for him, 1-6-4 in his debut. Granted, I mean,
koliko je meni Lucian nekada underwhelming kada ne dolazi do dovoljno dobrih spajkova.
You shouldn't really be contesting this position. Like, Chayek isn't base, Nako isn't in your front line. But again, it's like, Lot is able to come in from one angle, go in towards the back line, get the damage off onto Karzi, and then is able to walk out towards the top side. You've got Noah, who's essentially untouched this whole time. Like, the way in which Vitality are setting up for this composition is not where the strengths of it lie. And I think that's where Giant X are just playing the front to back better.
Yeah. That's why it's so smart with the comp. Play a comp that just plays front to back, where your weakness right now seems to be the mid game, and how you transition that lead and that skill you find in early game. With a comp like this, it seems foolproof. Now GX begins because Baron is going to do a lot of the work for them. Noah stepping up to get this inner turret through mid. And this Ziggs only 2 items, the wave clear, probably in comparison to the minion level, isn't going to matter as much as you think it would.
Giant X.
Game 2 waiting room, definitivno.
Što bi rekao moj kolega, Game 2 waiting room.
Mada iskreno ne znam, gledajući ovu partiju ne mogu da kažem će Giants sigurno uzeti drugi game. Iako se čini kao da su... Mislim, ovaj game sad dominiraju, ali pola ove partije baš nije tako izgledalo.
Slažem se, ali i dalje, kada su, dobro, za duše, mislim, Jackies je napravio veliki deo time što je baš napravio veliku razliku prvi u odnosu na Čajeka. Tek posle je Noah dobio resurse i Karz je 3.500 golda behind odnosu na Noah, ali overall mi se čini kao da je... Dobro, Isme odigrao dobar se Johnny game, kogo tebi teško palo.
A bicep mid laner as Noah steps up into 5 and look at them! Vitality are playing Spectator League of Legends because even the Corki can just run
Vitality are playing Spectator League of Legends.
It's so over.
Zanimljivo.
It's just so done. But like, this is so sick to see from Giant X.
Yeah.
Like this is, I'm genuinely really excited now to see what Giant X can try and achieve in this group because their early game is great, their individual laning seems to be fantastic as well. Their understanding of how to use their composition really seems up there. Like, this is now a team that can really look to try and contest for some of these top spots.
And it's not game one Andy, guys, alright? Don't start...
Malo preteruje. Nije baš ovo tim koji može da securuje top spots dok ne vidimo. Kao igrali su dobro protiv KC-a, ali ja verujem na reč mom kolegi koji je rekao da je KC grifovao.
Jako. Pogotovo što je Isma radio u tom gameu.
Tako da, sorry ljudi, ali...
Vidjet ćemo još, naravno, vidi, tokom trajanja sezone ekipe menjaju kako igraju. Prvo Giantsi, koji kažem, svake sezone igraju dobro prve 3 nedelje. I onda nakon te 3 nedelje samo više ne igraju. Tako da mislim da ostaje dosta još da se vidi, mislim. Ima još igre, ima još da dokažu. 11 minuta nam je pauza. I onda se vraćamo sa potencijalnom finalnim gameom, iako kažem, ne bih rekao da je sve gotovo. Tu su negde ekipe.
Ovo može da bude 2-1 i da bude sasvim realno. Meni bar tako izgleda, tako da slažem se sa tobom. Ja ne bih ništa otpisivao. Ima ovdje još da se klikće i... Vidjet ćemo da li će da se promeni nešto u Game 2.
Baš tako. Odo smo na pauzu, tu smo za 10, vraćamo se u potencijalnu finalnu partiju dana.
Hey Dragos, you ready for the... Oh, that doesn't look good. Wait, I have a solution, but you have a break. I will be right back. Just wait.
Have a break. Have a Kit Kat.
See? I told you we'd figure it out.
I don't think this counts.
Come on, let's go.
Red Bull gives you wings.
We're now approaching the final pick, and what a ride it's been.
A moment of hesitation, but we're getting closer to the game changer, and what a legendary journey we've been on.
I mean, there's so many excellent options, but one of them has to be a perfect fit.
Oh, they're about to lock in.
Oh, what a pick!
What a way to close things out.
Book your next hotel stay in Madrid with Marriott Bonvoy. A check-in at every checkpoint.
It's our local region, you know. So I'm hoping that it'll bring a lot of life to this Vitality monster.
Bro, Jackie's caught my hand. Yeah, my hand also got caught by Noah. Guys, I won last year paper. They plant level 1 better actually. Yeah, that was. No, there's nothing. Yeah, we can. Go. Yeah, dobrze, dobrze. Daj, hero. Keep on. Oh, okay. Guys, keep on. I can block it. Nice. Nice. Good job.
Welcome back to the LEC, where Giant X lead the series against Vitality 1-0. My name's Vedius, and I'm joined with Finn here in our constructed Summoner's Rift. Finn, at the very least, tell me you're impressed.
I mean, this is definitely one of the most pretty sandcastles I've seen.
That's what I'm thinking. I mean, we've got champions, we've got towers, we've got everything we need to break down some high-level League of Legends. Now, we have added an Archon, okay? Now, this Archon may look more terrifying than what you're used to, but Finn is by my side, so you have nothing to worry about, because he's going to help us understand what it comes to when we need a good Archon setup. So, Finn, when we're thinking about Archon, when we're thinking about, I want to secure this objective, this very important objective in the league, right? First of all, we need to think about the setup with our champions. But let's just say that I've gotten myself a pick, okay? I've gotten myself a kill. So one of these blue minions, dead, right? Now I have the numbers advantage. What should I do in this position to secure the Archon?
All right, and I will break it down to you bit by bit. So, the red team advances onto the river, and you want to secure a vision line. You want to secure a vision line of yellow, green wards. So when these bad boys want to approach the Archon, you will see it coming.
Exactly.
Now you have secured the position, you have surrounded the Archon, and most importantly, your solo laner has pushed out the top lane. Now, you get control around the Archon, and you start it. Bam! You hit the Archon, very menacing Archon, and now, listen closely, you pull him towards your pushed lane.
Why do we do that? Why are we doing that?
We are pulling him towards top side because now we have pushed lane here. So, either these little minions have to approach through the vision line of the red team, completely on vision, through this little choke point here, and that means it's going to be an easy turn with the side lane push on this point. Or, option 2, you go through the lane, and you have to walk through all this control, all this deep push, and I think usually this takes so much time that by the time you are here, either you need to run in and try to get an Archon flip with your jungler just to get engaged on, or try to make a pick on this guy. Either way, it's really difficult. If you do this setup as the red team, 99 out of 100 games, you're gonna get this Archon.
So, if I'm understanding this correctly, vision line, pushed wave, control over the river, you make it difficult for the enemy team to approach.
Yes, and most importantly, pull the Archon towards the push lane.
Cool, right. Now, we have a perfect example of Vitality versus GX around this Archon. So, first of all, we see them finding that initial pick, Finn, and things are looking promising because we've got exactly what we've just described. The initial pick has been secured. So now, what is Giant X doing that is impressing you about this setup?
Yes, first, Jackis is looking for a pick deep in the jungle. As you see, they already have this vision line. Carsey tries to get to this Archon, but he's walking over all the wards and makes it so easy. And now it should be an easy Archon for GX.
But I'm already seeing mistakes. I feel like the top wave isn't pushed in. Vitality even has access, and now we've got a massive fight kicking off.
Yeah, crucially, Vitality, despite losing the AD carry, was able to walk through the Tribush without getting turned on. You see that beautiful choke point, that's such an easy turn point for the Rel, for the Azir. It's just being left up and available, and it turns into a slugfest. It is so awkward, and yeah, it's just not pretty at all.
So, after all this setup that we were talking about in the Archon, they didn't even end up getting the Archon. So, help me understand something. When it comes to GX and Vitality, I feel like in the mid-game what we've been seeing a lot of is that kind of over-eagerness to force the fight, maybe chase beyond. Is that what we saw in this situation around the Archon?
I mean, we also saw a little bit of a misjudgment on what's actually relevant to this Archon. Like, sure, you do need this Archon, but your Azir, your main damage dealer on the Archon, is not hitting. And this gives it really slows down the Archon take and just gives so much time for these. Even though this guy got caught off, you can still kind of walk through here and kind of meddle with these guys, because the Archon shred, the AoE damage, makes it really hard if you're hitting it to kind of take the fight after. You really want to turn before before they congregate in this area.
So it felt like that there were two different decisions going on. There was a team decision on one end from Giant X to force and start the Atakan, but on the other side we had a solo play being made by Jackies. And each play in and of themselves aren't wrong, but in isolation it just creates this disconnect.
Yeah, I mean, I think the crucial mistake was not pushing out this wave long enough, because now if you have this deep push, suddenly you can't walk through here because there's an Asir from this angle, there's a Ambessa from this angle, and the Atakan hopefully being pulled out makes it so easy to turn. But yeah, a little bit disjointed by GX, and I would have loved to see a little bit more cohesion, a little bit more preparation, and a little bit more cohesion.
So obviously we're spending a lot of time talking about this Atakan, but in terms of the setup and objective setup, this is one of the big things we're looking at for this Giant X roster. But overall, we have seen some positive things, especially when we look at this bot lane in particular from GX. An impressive performance once again from Noah and Jun. We came into this matchup talking about this bot lane. How did you think they performed overall?
Yeah, I mean, it was a really solid game from, I think especially Jun had so many crucial engages. While we talk about bot lane, I also really want to highlight, I mean, we're talking about Noah here, like look at that KDA, look at that damage share, 800 damage per minute, just really good stats. And I feel like he just always was in a position to get as much damage out while not really being under threat, and that's exactly what you want from your AD carry.
Yeah, really impressive stuff. Now moving into game 2, is there anything you want to see Vitality change that you think will give him a better fighting chance against you?
I mean, I feel like Shajak needs to be included more in the game. I feel like he first got ganked, or like they actually pushed up, but then he died. Then he TP'd back and died again. Yeah. And I feel like this 6 was kind of a non-factor. When I think about Shajak, I think about a mid laner that works in tandem with his jungler, kind of skirmishing in the rivers, always being in these places. And I feel like he was always a little bit disjointed, and he wasn't really able to find his footing compared to the Seer that was Jackies.
Well, here's hoping that we get a better performance from Chayak. Vitality want to still stay relevant in this series, but to get a little bit more insight, we do have Medic standing by with Jackies to hear about game 2.
I'm back here with Jackies. Jackies, really quickly before the next game of the series. I was wondering, we've seen a big change in Giant X from spring to summer. In spring, you guys were, we'll say, mediocre, to put it kindly. What has actually changed within the team?
I mean, I think I'll tell you like the boring stuff, right? Like getting on the same page. But I feel like in this time, it's actually kind of happening, because usually when people say that, it doesn't happen. But now I feel like, even though sometimes it may be bad plays, we actually do it as 5 and believe in each other. So I feel like that's like the biggest change, and we just play aggressive more, I think.
All right, more aggressive. Well, thanks so much, man. Good luck in game 2. Hopefully we'll see 3 games in this series. I should have said that quieter. Over to you guys.
Thank you very much, Medic. I felt that was very informative in comparison to the boys in the play pit. I got distracted by the sand. And
Wait, the play pit was great. What do you mean?
It was great, but I just...
The Red Bull Towers, and that looked fantastic.
I just got confused because I just thought, oh, Finn and Vedius are just playing in the sand pit. That's where my brain went. So I didn't really absorb. I didn't really absorb what was going on, but it was good. No, it was inventive and it was great. Big shout out to LEC. I mean, the spa in the sand has been a sick weekend. Like, yeah, it's been awesome. And I feel like after this, I was just thinking, Dagda, I'm like, if this ends in 2-0, I think you and I are going to go and have a spa together.
Oh.
I'm
ready for the jacuzzi.
I brought shorts.
I have 2 pairs.
2 pairs?
I didn't know how wild we were going to get.
Oh, my Lord. Okay. I would invite everyone else here, but you're not allowed. There's only 8 people allowed in the spa at once, I think. My wife's family has, a jacuzzi. That's the
Can
rule.
we do like a raffle or something? Like,
oh yeah.
Yeah. If you buy something at this is not real. Don't listen to me. But if you buy something at the merch store, it's like you get entered into a draw.
You go to the raffle.
And we sell the margaritas now, so you can have a margarita with us.
Yes. Actually, good giveaway.
And I can't do that because I got to record Euphoria after this. But you can
record Euphoria in the hot tub. Let's go into pick ban. Actually, I don't know why you're not doing that. Any of the players coming on.
We can have Yankos on a screen.
Oh, you got Yankos coming on. Okay, Yankos is definitely going to be upset if he's not in the hot tub. I'm telling you now. That guy's going to come in and be like, what the hell? All right, pick ban, let's go. Usual bans, nothing really changed. Nautilus on blue side is the only interesting part of that. Maybe they're just fishing for an Alistar or Leona, or what do you want to fish for there? Maybe Poppy? I don't know.
Yeah, I think it's denies the... Are you probably setting up for an Alistar of some description here with that ban? It also opens up, as you say, the Leona, but... Yeah, I think it doesn't, like, either way, you're kind of happy to just go for either of those. Even the Rakan is still decent here as well. Maybe it's more for the Rakan angle. Like, could look for
Game broj 2, druge serije, Vitality Giantsi. Ulazimo u draft, Giantsi su dobili dosta ubedljivo, ali su se malo mučili bar tokom prvih 15 minuta. Vidjet ćemo šta će sad moći da urade ovde, ali ne, mislim, volao bi da Giantsi dobiju, volao bi da su konkurent za top 4. Nije nemoguće, Trundle je prejak pik, ali Vitality stvarno, kad mislim pogledamo mimo tog even early game-a i do mid game-a ništa nije konkretno pokazao.
Mimo tom early game-a do mid game-a malo i kasnije.
Ne, gle, mislim, hoću ti kažem, mimo early to mid game-a nisu konkretno ništa pokazali. Early game i mid game je bio okej.
Meni je bilo samo presimpatično.
A nisam se pogrešno izrazio, ne?
Ne, dobro si izrazio.
Zabo sam ja na sekund. Mozak mi malo ne radi trenutno, iskreno, pa zbog toga.
Nego je meni samo bilo simpatično kako je zvučalo, ništa više.
Nisu puno ništa
moglo je,
pokazali.
može da se misinterpretuje ako si bezobrazovan da maltretiraš svog umornog kolegu kao ja, razumiješ.
To je u redu. Trenutno eksperimentišem mnogo sa hranom i onda ti mogu reći da je jako interesantno.
Poslao sam ti jedan TikTok da te motivišem.
Odgovorio sam, hvala ti kolega. Samo sam, htio sam ti pošaljem sliku trake na kojoj sam trenutno, ali ne znam kako pošaljem tamo sliku, mislim li ne može, možda i može, nemam pojma.
Znam kako je, to već znaš, tako da...
Sad sam već preko 2 sata na traci, a doručkovao sam taj cream of rice i malkice šljiva.
Što doručak?
To je cream of rice, 50 grama je 170 kalorija, 176 kalorija ima. Ali kažem, malo eksperimenti. I što sam danas imao leg day i onda sam baš... Znači, probudio se, odradio leg day, došao kući, ostavio torbu, izašao šetam Luja, vratio se kući, upalio lec i stao na traku. Tako da, logično sam iscrpljen, ali rekao sam...
One more time, kolega, one more time.
Da, sad sam, jako sam lokinovan, samo malo volim da se žalim jer se bolje osjećam. Znaš i ti kako to funkcioniše?
Naravno.
Znaš kao...
Ljudi, mi ne bismo katovali da ne volimo da se žalimo, to je ključ.
To je bukvalno to, samo malo se žalim kako sam umoran ili kako sam gladan ili šta god.
Inače nema smisla, nije drugačije ni zanimljivo, kako sam kažem.
Duše, moram pristi malo tužan, izgleda sam istegao sam pločicu jednu.
Aha, okej.
Proće brzo. Nego danas sam trebao da radim stomak i kako sam krenuo, samo sam shvatio da neće se dogodi.
Ajde, dok nećeš sljedeći put samo.
Da, mislim ja svako radim po 2 serije, jedne, 2 druge vežbe svaki drugi dan, tako da samo ću jednom raditi 4, to je to. Nije smak sveta. Nego sam promenio na decline klupi kako držim teg i obično sam držao onako full ispred mene, znači sa ispruženim rukama.
I onda si otkrio, mogu da se nadovežem?
Slobodno, da.
I onda si otkrio genijalnu stvar koju sam ja otkrio halfway through, a to je da ako ga staviš iza glave, odjednom gravitacija počinje da bude najjači teg na svetu.
Da, ima i treća opcija koja je još teža, ali to ne mogu zbog ramena, to sam radio nekad, ali ne mogu zbog ramena, to je da držiš iza glave sa stendovenim rukama. To ti je još jedan nivo iznad.
Okej, to zvuči dobro, to je baš gravitacija, radi potpuno protiv tebe, baš jako.
Da, jer si ga odvojio od centra tvog.
Da, ali meni je to bilo, znači meni je bukvalno, ja radim sa, jednom sam radio, to je bilo presmešno, radio sam s 25 kila u rukama i držao sam ga tako ispred sebe, kao, mislim, razumeš, jedna od lakših verzija. I drugar mi se mnogo smeo, bio u zonu povredit ćeš se i stvarno sam, kad sam se vraćao, udario sam sebe tegom u čelo, imao sam modricu do kraja dana, ali onda sam uzeo 15 kila i stavio iza glave i bilo je teže nego 25 kila ispred.
Jeste.
Nevjerovatna razlika.
Meni je problem što sam, s 25 moram previše da uradim kad držim napred da bi imao efekta, a druga stvar je što mi se polako prednje rame upaljuje. Jer imam push da imam upper i još moram držim tako teg svaki drugi dan i bukvalno prednje rame u fazonu chillaj malo, te ne možeš to da radiš.
Prednje rame baš smara. Pogotovo mislim i ako si radio grudi skoro isto je već aktivirano.
Pa da, to. Tako da je napeto, ali imam ono, imam osjećaj da će ovo biti to. Znači baš sam onako, mislim da dobijam šta želim nakon 4 mjeseca, samo treba ostati full okinovan i to je to.
Ja sam siguran da dobiješ šta želiš.
Tako da sad lagana šetnjica, lagan game, lagano gledaš Barda opet, samo ne navijamo nužno za njega.
To je uvijek navijam za Barda.
A dobro, fair. Giants imaju te bombo combo. Pričaju nešto Lešadu na Twitteru, kao da problem sa Fearlessom u Best of 3 je što vidimo 3 kompozicije koje se vrte u krug i seriju, što je fair. I rekao je da kao bolje da sad Riot prebaci neki Iron Man draft, ili ne znam šta je rekao, ali ne znam ni šta je taj Iron Man draft, tako da ne znam šta mislim o tome.
Iron Man draft je da banovi ne mogu da se ponavljaju također.
Čekaj, kad banuješ heroja, banovan je do kraja serije.
Tako je.
Ja se slažem, ja mislim da je to goated. Ma sve heroje eliminiši. Soraka vs. Zoe na botu.
Zato što u Iron Manu za Best of 3 serije ti ostane dovoljan broj heroja. I od konta što je 40 po seriji, to je 80 heroja banovano.
To je ma legitimno svejedno. Legitimno.
Game 1 was, yeah, a bit one-sided. It felt competitive at times because the gold was so close, but like, it never felt like Vitality found their successful setup.
Nah, they really couldn't, and I think it was more when we got to those objectives and
they were
struggling to control chokes,
struggling to control
where Giants were free. That really was what showed where their problems were, and even in their communication. So for this game, I think this is going to be another test of that, to make sure that they are fighting in the correct spots on the map. Whereas for Giant X, well, they're already looking to fight as they start to move in on mid lane.
Cosmic Binding not going to connect there. And Noah just sends out a boomerang in response, but nothing short of small trading. Jackie's gets a bit of mana flow banned. I mean, that's something.
I also think apart from, the Orianna, everything else kind of does relatively well from level 6 to 11. Like, as you start to see these first items coming through, like Noah's Boomerang, very strong in an initial team fight or skirmish. The speed up for a Wukong who hits level 6, Rumble having that early damage. Like, if you are trying to contest some of these early objectives,
mislim da je Orianna fajna na 6, sad slušam šta kasteri pričaju, ali da, mislim da je ona fajna na 6.
Cardi can be a bit conditional in how his damage is set up, so I think Giant X would definitely be looking to try and take over again post level 6.
When that combo comes up, I mean, Wukong especially can't do much till level 6 apart from skirmish and layer some damage down. Linzes, on the other hand, has Trundle. Some of the power that we've seen of this champion coming in is his dueling. He feels like another version of Xin Zhao, obviously different champion, very different champion, but it's just that his dueling is so good. And lethal tempo now normally to take PTA here for a bit of burst on the auto Q auto.
Ovaj matchup je izgleda kao na midu uvek da je ne toliko interesantan, u stvari Orianna može baš lepo da izbuli jako igra dobro.
With that race coming to 6, might be a slower early game here, unless anything can happen with the 2v2 pop. I mean, you're not diving this early, I don't think.
No, I do think it will be a slower game. With the range advantage on the support, Vitality should pretty consistently be able to get push in here.
1-0-4 CS-a. Sad će na crash, u stvari sam će sebi dopropasti dosta kripova. Jer je Sivir. Ovo je neka super galaksija pčelica.
Shayek has had decent control over mid to look for invades with the Trundle, but you can already see Giant X defensive vision.
Zanima da li će ikada Trundle zbog bottom buffova odigrati bottom. Ko se sjeća Prime Trundle ranije, Trundle je mogo da ranije bottom, pogotovo na topu.
Linzes, especially since he's clear right now, seems to be a little bit faster. Or maybe it's just because the Gromp was pulled over towards blue buff and the stretch was
to je istina. Meni je to bilo fun. A generalno ima nekoliko heroja koji su jako satisfying kad biješ kule i zato volim da igram Trundle na topu ponekad, jer Trundle sa Botrk Trinitijem kad počne da to ljaga kulu, jedino Mundo i Sion prilaze blizu tome.
Ako se ja dobro sećam, Trundle je čak imao jedan Blue Trundle Blue Trundle build, kad je Botrk bio aktiv plus Iceborne za chase down. A meni to nešto poznato.
Moguće.
I wasn't sure how far Nak was pushed forward. He's sitting about half HP, so there has been some trading on top, but the way pushing into him, he should be fine.
There is a way that Ornn can find a bit of burst here, but as long as the combo doesn't come through, and as well that Seer getting away from that Bellows Breath, rather.
I'm really sorry, Jake.
What is it?
There's a tier on Jackie's, which means there will be no Hex Gunblade shenanigans more than likely happening, and also double crystal means Rod of Ages for tonight, so...
Da, ovaj game će traje sat vremena.
No.
Yeah, and I think, like, this is Jackie...
Nema način da traje manje. Nijedna ni druga ekipa nema damage, osim možda Jin Bard da pop-upuju mid-game.
He's a 50% win rate, which for like not terrible, but I think
Pa dobro, da Pobi igra protiv Pobija na midu, vidjeli bi malo interesantnije buildove na midu, verovatno. Pa bi možda bilo brže. Ovako tiru Rod of Ages, Resident Sleeper mid lane.
I feel like Orianna last split was kind of more of a fringe pick, like we had it as options into, you know, I guess it was either things like Victor's or I'm trying to think of other lanes, like some Silas lane.
Yeah, it was kind of dependent on like if you wanted to go for a Nocturne and stuff as well. But I think it's just there's been nerfs towards a lot of the champions that were in the mid lane, and then it's just she's always kind of sitting on the fringe of the meta. Just she's very strong as a lane bully, scales relatively well, and as long as control mages are good, she tends to be good.
Yeah. All round, I mean.
Izgleda da je kolega jedino što je meni falilo u životu. 4 rice cake-a dnevno.
Vrto je 120 kalorija, nije ni strašno.
To ti kažem, da.
Nisi ti video kad sam stavio na story pre neki dan, kad sam otišao i kupio rice cake-ove. Uzeo sam 2 kutije rice cake-ova, ljudi su mi se smijali. Kao, brate, šta će ti toliko rice cake-a, ja sam u fazonu, veruj mi.
Čekaj, kutije in sense of gajbe.
Kutiju Incensov sad ću ti slikati kad siđem niz stepenice. Evo sad ću puziram traku i slikat ću ti jednu kutiju koju sam kupio, pošto sam drugu propustio, ali generalno rice cake-ovi su samo goated. Jer ja ti kažem, ja ih jedem i pre trening sa medom i sa soli i svašta i onda kao, i Klara ih isto jede, pa kao treba mi svaki dan, ali ću za minut.
Ja sam mislio da kažu ljudi da je fake, ali kada nešto ima... Kao kada je nešto većinski hidrat, ima malo proteina i malo masti, meni je to, ono, pored toga što ima 33 kalorije po jednom komadu, to je insane. To je za meni insane. Jer problem je što jedan rice cake za njegovu gramažu te previše zasiti, ne znam kako.
Pa ti ne znaš moj životni hack. Kad uzmeš Zero Jam pa staviš na rice cake i za 40 kalorija pojedeš desert.
Upravo tako. To je cijela poenta. Znači meni je, ono, ja umem da imam craving nekada za nečim, pojedem 2 rice cake-a sa 60 kalorija, ja sam grickao. Uz film, razumeš?
A ima ljudi koji uzmu pa samelju. Mislim, ne bukvalno, ali kao uzmeš i polomiš ih i jedu kao koktice.
Pa imaju oni mali, znaš ono,
kao leži grickalica. Daj mi 2 sekunde, idem dole da slikam, sad ću ti pokažem sad.
Ajde, mnogo me zanima. Mi umeđu vremenu gledamo bukvalno stiperski, najstiperski mogući game. Ajde, Vuko gledao 6 kere koji uspio da nađe pik, ali uglovi koji će da se traži su Vuko Gorijana post 6 i Jin Bard pick-offovi post 6 također, gde uz bilo koji slow ili poke Jin Bard imaju line-up da konektuju W ulti ili vice versa. To su načini na koji će ovaj game da se verovatno igra. I na range, što bi više gledalo možda Vitality-u. I na range mogu i da engage-uju, čak to i žele teorije. Trundle of Pillar će da igra mnogo veliku ulogu, jer enable-uje i Barda, i Jina, i Viktora, pa čak i Orna da pogađa lakše abilitije. To su dva objektiva u early game-u za Giantse.
Evo me. Viš, bukvalno su kutije. Tako uzem i kupim 2 kutije.
Da se posla, aha.
Na Discord. Legitimno kutije, ne znam sad koliko jedno stane tipa, ali mislim sam uzeo jedno 50-ak tih.
A koji ti je to rice cake? Je lukusa?
Pa rice cake svi su isti, mislim to je čisto, nije onaj kao nešto, bukvalno je samo salted.
Ja onaj so susam uzimam. Mislim isti su... Znači da su isti nutri.
Slagat ću te, ali mislim da je ovako... Mislim da je ovako nešto, ne sjećam se na pamet, ali... Da, bukvalno je džabe, mislim džabe.
Especially as maybe we get some action bot lane for Naknako here.
Maybe we do. I mean, he just got his way out before, but now not so much. Shockwave get Bellows Breath. It's nice. Naknako, the mechanics are good and the health bar helps out. In fact, the Bellows Breath saved.
Kupujem za 10 dinara po pakovanju više. Od tebe jednu kutiju. Moj dealer rajstika.
Hashtag biznis, da, stonks.
Jel nestane brzo?
Ne, imaš i koliko hoćeš.
Gde se nalazi to?
Ko imaš gde hoćeš, mislim, ja uzimam pored moje teretane, ali kao ono.
Nažalost, kod mene su svi daleko.
Mogu ti da nesem ja jednom na posao, pa samo šta god, mislim, meni nije frk.
Ne bre, loše sam ukucao.
Yuntal's just slightly short on Noah on his reset there, so not quite able to pick it up, but he's still going to be fine as he starts to come back out. So you're looking for...
O da, 3 minuta kolima. O da.
Ti blizu, da.
3 minuta kolima.
To ti je to ti kažem.
Okej.
Actually, with Juntas here, maybe Giant X aren't looking at that dragon.
Ili imaju više vrsta ili samo taj?
Samo te jedne. Imaju još jednu od griza, neke pločice od griza, to Klara mnogo voli. I tipa jedna ima 15 kalorija.
Ne, čekaj, slano ili slatko?
Slano, iš.
Morat ću da... Ljudi ne razume kako su te stvari broke. Pominjao sam vam malo pre dok je Sajna... pokazivao ovo da Trundle Pillar će mnogo da enabluje ovdje sve heroje Vitalitija, jer je Logist range slow koji može da pomogne i Džinu, i Bardu, i Viktoru, i Ornu u landovanju svojih abilitija ključnih. I Trundlov Pillar baš igra veliku ulogu u ovom gameu, kogo god to zvučalo low-key engage.
Velox je, da, subota, nedelja, ponedeljak, lec. Sreda, četvrtak, IBL. Da, meni je sutra ono sve u jednom danu, jer slobodan dan, pa onda mora se iskoristi, onda baš brda posla imam. Sve lagano, sve se da rešiti. Sve je to lagano, samo javi. Se organizujemo i ez.
As you'd expect in Rumble versus Ornn, I feel.
Eto, to samo da javim.
Čekaj, ja...
push here for Noah, which is why Giant X are feeling as secure as they are to just go for this evade on the top side.
Jel vidiš šta mislim?
Da, to je ovo.
Da sam vikend taj kad je lec, do recimo nešto između ta dva. Pa daš.
Čekaj, ne taj datum koji sam ti dao.
Čekaj, stan. Samo da imamo fight, curtain call.
Jun now running for his life, but he gets out with a battle dance while Isma at the edge of the curtain call. Meanwhile, Lot stayed away from it all. Alone in bot lane with 3 grubs and Giant X not doing anyone. makes that a win.
Nice disengage coming through. Jackie's was forced to flash, but Jun with the heroics to interrupt Nako from that ultimate. And that's what we were kind of talking about. It can be somewhat difficult for Nord.
Ali koliko sam nezgodne situacije. Ja nisam video da je ovaj vikend EBL, ja sam mislio da je za vikend Let's.
And the bot play pays off for Giant X.
And he gets away as well. Nako spotted him out, but 1 second too late.
Lot
gets his Leandries on the way back, and I was just talking about a small CS lead between top laners for the Rumble.
Sve lagano.
Now, about 15.
Samo polako kao i ovaj game. Totalni deja vu od prethodne partije. Totalni deja vu. Znači, ne previše razlike u goldu, 1000 golda difa, ali zato Giants kontroliše mapu do 20. minuta i onda uzmu trećeg Drake-a, onda će oko četvrtog uzmu Soul, uhvate momentum i to je to.
The question is if he has time to reset, as Nako's gone deep, Mega Blast going lot, overshoots it, but that's just fine. A searing charge probably needed up against the wall of Bellow's Breath as well, but...
Wukong je nastakovao Konkara, podržan fight nije loš ako neko može se joina.
Still hovering around because Jun's on the way in. Look at
Jun ima flash.
With almost his ulti up and available, wants to join in. Lenses takes a big hit, but the searing charge is great.
Loti probao da izbegne nokat i to ga je koštalo toga da malte ne ubio Nako. Nije bilo potrebe za tim, niti stanuje dok flamethroweru još u njega.
Da, Isma nema ulti, tako da nije imao ulti pa nije mogo ni da se bije kako treba.
And on mid as well, they should be in a good spot, and it's more kind of tools gone from Vitality side with Nako losing that summoner.
But Dagda is kind of just edging out towards his next fight, isn't it? Magical Journey again, Tempered Fate on the turret, Jackie's alone.
Lepo, flashy, majstore.
He is redeemed for the earlier play.
I ovdje kažu bravo Viktore, dobio si killa, a u stvari bravo Flash i dao si kill.
U stvari međutim...
Kad ono međutim.
Ovdje Isma.
Ode.
Ostavit će kill, iako je lagano Wukong mogu isto da uzme.
Wukong je trebao, ja čak mislim da je trebao, argue da je trebao.
Yeah, Nako should be able to get the tower, but if you can use this Riptail to crack open mid, I think there's a little bit more valuable here for Giant X, but still immediate gold funneled in towards Nako. You could TP down as Jackie's, but I just don't think it's worth it in this spot.
Bagged up. It is brewing, isn't it? It's like a good cup of coffee on a cold winter's morning. Well, actually, that's like she's an espresso machine, so it doesn't really brew.
I was going to say, in Berlin at the moment, it feels like on a cold summer's day.
Oh, yeah,
the way things are going.
Bro, we were out today. I went into the supermarket to get some things with my wife. It was sunny. We were wearing hats, sunglasses. I leave, like 10 minutes past.
Slušamo priču, Kasterovu.
Kako idu u supermarket i kupuju stvari.
Tako je.
Yeah, it's definitely not. What is Jun? Pillar does interrupt, but still, Dragon is available. TP now coming through from Chike to try and set up, but moving through this choke will be difficult against everything that GX has.
And GX with the gold lead, showcasing up with almost 2 items on an 80 carry, Trinity Force on a Wukong and Leandries. Still sitting there with a fiendish Codex. GX have a bit of power, but Noah caught out. Shield already popped down. Redemption not helping out, rather. His Vitality's on the hunt, pop. Okay, they want to go in, and Jun's going to flash for it as well with the quickness equalized down. It's a nice equalizer at that.
Bravo, i evo ga kombo. Dobar Oriana ult nema damage, Gucu Jackie baš lepo dodžava sve. Čak i flashova out sa aktiviranim phasešom da se repositionuje i dalje nije bitno. Koliko ne radi damage, znači neverovatno je. Sjajno je odigrao, ali nije uspio ni do druge.
Giant X threw everything to get onto the flashless Cardi in the back line, but they'd gone too far. They had no way to get back out. And Nako with the 3-man Ornn ultimate set up beautifully.
And he's doing it again. Giant X are coming in to see if they can pick up.
Dobro, ovih vraća skroz u game, za razliku od prethodne da ne znam što Isma radi ovdje. Lot, ako radi damage-a ne sme da priđe.
Isma's Cyclone helps him escape, but now Lenses has control. Now Vitality have their taste of blood in this game too.
They get the dragon, they get the kills, they get what they need, and you can see here, like, it's a nice idea. They know Karzi has no flash, so they all jump in onto him, but Nako gets the knock-up into the Ornn immediately, which is just beautiful.
Noko. Lepo odigrao. I mislim da Rumble i Oriana mu ne rade damage, a Wukong i naskilovo dovoljno kao ni Sivir. A dok oni naskiluju, on će dobiti armora da bude lagan.
He just lost so much of his health bar off of that great engage from Nako.
And again, it's crazy how, like, the tank is... we're looking at total damage dealt to champions. The tank who was behind and had to respond to every Vitality play just has one big moment and you're like, well, actually, Lot's lead didn't really matter too much in that fight. And we come to an equilibrium. We come to Dragon stacking now stop. It's only a Chemtech soul and I'm sure...
Pa lepi ovo Oriana build, imaš dosta CDR-a, sve je to super, ali... nedovoljno.
Ali često ne radiš damage. Šta radiš često?
Samo često šta god da pogodiš. I dalje nebitno. Opet zaokružuju ručno.
Vratite krug. Hashtag team krug.
Tako je.
Are really going to struggle is they need to basically do what they did to Karzi, but on towards Shayak in these fights. If he can get up towards his Onions and try and minimize the impact of that dive, I think that's where Vitality have kind of sailed past what could be the danger zone for him.
Ability to buy a lot of time. Ghost pop from Fleshy. Jun just takes fourth shot. Karzi walks up and he's starting to do a bit of damage too, but he needs that BF sword to turn into something remarkable. He is a little bit behind on gold, and you can see that Noah has himself the Flicker Blade, but cheaper item. Looks like Karzi is going towards something like an IE dagger and something more meaningful there. As soon as he gets that, maybe his impact felt alongside Chayak as well. All right, Atakan's up. That's what's staring us in the face right now. Everyone hovering around topside. Jun has used his unsealed spellbook TP to join in if this can be started now.
Yeah, again though, we're kind of seeing Lost left to his lonesome on this bottom side, and this seems to be the call from Vitality is...
Ajmo, startite. Dajte neku akciju, nešto, pick off ite. Ajmo, Flashy. Chayak igra 6 za šak, nice.
Chayak 2 levels over Jackie's, by the way. So this Victor is hella strong and...
Sjajno. Flash je isterao iz Trajbuša, dao više, da je ovo još popovo bilo bi savršeno. On tretira baš lepo ovdje Juna, ne da mu da igra. Flash je bar dosta dobar.
Neoptimalna partija za Jackie, iskreno.
Yeah, I think for Giant X, they're trying to find ways to leverage off the fact they got both of these outer turrets down. Like, push boss into rotate lot mid into rotating Noah top, and then you can kind of get the numbers advantage you need. Now, they don't quite have to go for that full passage of play, but that's essentially what unlocks that top tower now. Whereas for Vitality, they are still relatively far behind on tempo just because they don't, although Chayak is big, the rest of the team isn't really, and you still can't contest on a lot of these waves. But now, as you start to crest over towards, say, Dragon, if you can get that IE finished on towards Karzi, I do think he is in a good spot, and maybe you can look to then force another fight in your favor.
Nako će polako početi da forge iteme, baš nezgodno za Giantse. Mislim da im baš treba mnogo itema u ovom gameu da bi mogli da imaju impact koji žele s ovim kompom.
Ja, mogu da se složim s tom.
This is Fleshy's first LEC series. If you haven't heard of the bloke, just before we get there, a lot hinges on the back of this bar. The tempered fates have been good so far. And although he got caught out with the TP earlier, I think he has redeemed himself. It does feel like that long-range engage. He, alongside Nako, is how Vitality find a pick with the pillar as well. There's one of them, there's the other. Call the Forge God lands. Tempered fate zones out, but puts no one back into the cyclone. Maybe too far, maybe too deep, maybe too low.
Tena kada promašite engage da budete mrtvi nakon vašeg engage.
Shaq's like, I'm coming in now, but it's way too late. Giant X on the fray of the fight.
Kako lepo kod Barda.
Saves the play. Jackie's on the chase though. All he needs is a shockwave. Dissonance out. Chike zoned into the blue pit. He's already burned his flash, so he's dead man walking. Giant X with 5, and they outplay the overstep from Vitality.
Vitality thought they caught Noah, but they
couldn't
quite get
Ajde, sve je lagano, Giantsi. Što vidimo, naši su fight, iako je relativno rano, mislim da će im trebati još malo više itema, Infinity i ostalo da krenu da rade ovo, ali eto, huge fight, vraća ih totalno, preokreće game full u njihovu korist. I sad je samo pitanje da mogu da završe game, da ga privedu kraju. Vidjet ćemo šta se izdogađalo ovdje. Mislim, ovdje samo...
Ovo je veliki problem bio.
Previše hard force od Vitality, a s tim da su promašili previše stvari. Mislim da je to
Čajek je
sasvim fair.
teleportovao u veri. Evo ovaj Cosmic Binding je bukvalno spasao da ih ne pregaze.
Knowing he's essentially just going to get caught between Jai and X, but there's not very much you can do in that position.
Wants that Arcane Storm to get a reset, but doesn't find it. And Jai and X, we're seeing those moments of brilliance again. 3k gold leading with a fight one. A bit of excess gold on that top lane as well. Bloodletter's Curse now picked up and a fight brewing around Dragon. Third for GX it would be, and lead to the Chemdex ult. Shockwave comes in, Linces gets caught out.
Likas toliko zna da ne radi damage da je... Bože Likas, Jackins toliko zna da ne radi damage da je Olina, Likas... Oooo, tempered fate! Al džabe.
Sad je džabe.
Nemoj damage-a.
Džabe, da.
Nemoj damage-a. Fali im damage-a. Wukong i Rumble kompenzuju za Oriana i Silverlight. Dok Jhin ne može da kompenzuje za Viktora sa Rom. Dobro, i Trundle ajde kompenzuje donekle, ali Ornn opet jednostavno previše. Oni moraju da igraju hard na pik, ne može ovako.
This time it was a closer game, but Giant X making it look like this series is going to be a wash. The Infinity Edge should make a difference on the Jhin, and I got to say, Dagda, Jackie's is the reason that he pulls out this Oriana. He might be 0-3 and 6, but he has been the utility king here to follow up on how Isma's engaged to set them up.
Yeah, we get to catch it here again, but I want to keep an eye. Okay, so the Ornn ultimate wasn't quite up for Nako. I couldn't quite see it on the replay, but it looks like it's up now. So I thought here we'd get the Ornn ultimate coming through, which is why Isma immediately pops the Cyclone to prevent the Ornn ultimate from being able to be followed.
Nema. Da, nemaju dovoljno damage-a.
Even with that, the fact that you just catch Shayak and the on-the-hunt movement speed again, just lets them chase down Vitality.
Sve je bilo odigrano relativno okej opet.
Don't set up for the fight in the way they want. I'm going! Come here!
Još su, mislim ti ne vidiš, ali meni su još usta puna vode. Pio sam vodu i baš nisam očekivao ovo, da.
Zabavlja se.
Well, I haven't talked about him as much this game outside of individual leads. It is nice to see again, like the equalizers have been part of the pivoters. Isma's in, onto Nako again. Giant X taking this jungle for their own. Baron is up, and the reason Vitality want to get nearby is because their vision is only left to that one ward. But ignore wards, because Nako again, there's just
Nebitno je, sad ih već lome.
Shakky's tear through him now too.
Giant X have been playing this exceptionally. The one way that you probably lose this is splitting up and giving Nako that opportunity for that big engage with Fleshy that they tried to play for. And GX just aren't letting them. They're just jumping onto them in the top side, staying as 5, but spreading out so there's never that big wombo combo threat. And now Baron, as 3 members of Giant X still contest here.
Linces wants to fight, Party has a range. While Baron's going to drop down, Giant X can also then just pivot.
Mnogo si me nasmejao, stvari.
Čekaj, šta? Da, jeste, da, okej. Never mind.
It's fine. Razumem.
Sve okej.
I understand your concern.
Drago mi je smo na istoj strani. A leti vreme,
Leti vreme, kad pali kalorija.
Leti vreme, boga mi nešto brzo prolazi. Mislim ću da odspam posle leci, jedan sat.
Mislim i ja.
Ću igram TFT, upalit ću Merge Tactics slučajno. Kako sam krenuo. Ima i toga. Ovo bi bio identičan game ko prošli, da Giantsi nisu gubili ni jedan fight oko Drakea i da ovdje imaju Soul. Ovako su kupili malo više vremena sebi, ali dalje... Da li dovoljno, nisam siguran.
This is just looking in the impossible basket once again.
Yeah, the TP back here from Lot, they want to end it here. Linces, towers are falling, and it looks like Vitality will go with them.
Vitality
have got 3 left. And Chayak is going to try and clear this wave, but against Baron it seems so hard.
Giants, imate moju totalnu podršku da završite game ovde. Speedrunovanje leca, 3 sata 14 minuta ukupno. Good stuff. Ekipa Giantsa iskreno je prelomila.
Scrims have made it to the main stage. Giant X look terrified. This is such a fun team to watch. They're aggressive, they are taking fights, they are outplaying you, they are great on the map.
Zapravo jesu fun to watch, moram da priznam.
It is, and Vitality don't want just hit them. I mean, this game was
Pa napadaju se, brzo gledaju, završe partiju, mislim da je to sve
and there were some good plays, like I feel like Fleshy on
relativno okej.
You know, had some impact with his ult, had some impact with some of the skirmishes. Linz as well on Tronal, that topside play, but
ali da, speedrunovanje, nema šta. Sutra neće biti caster programa, tako da nema IBL-a, nema leca. Što se castovanja tiče, vraćamo se na Fortuni u sredu u 19 časova. Gledamo nastavak jako kratke IBL sezone, bar regularne. Tako da... Da, ostalo je još malo i tamo, ali ne znam da imaš nešto dodaš, puštam intervju, gasimo program, to je to za danas.
Tako, hvala vam što ste gledali i vidimo se naravno na programu.
Jackie's doing really well on that mid wave. Noah having some fantastic moments in team fights, and Lot has really impressed me with how good he understands where he needs to be on the map. Like, genuine, that is kind of the biggest growth I've seen from him, is like, how many times are we going, oh, Giant X have either just escaped from a team fight on top or won a team fight on top. Lot knew he didn't need to be there, he's now taken bot tier, or he's now taken top tier.
True.
Like, that seems to be the consistent story for this, and it's really cool to see.
It's their early game. We came in talking about it, we'll go out the same way. Their early game for Giant X, like, it does feel like, and this is going to sound crazy, but it does feel like some of the best in the league. Like, in the LEC right now, their early game has been insane, and while that game, it was a little bit slower, like, they switched on in mid-game, and it's not like they were that far behind in gold and making egregious mistakes. So, yeah, improvement, huge, big week, I think, overall for Giant X, as we hand it over to Medic, who's talking with that top laner, who's showing remarkable improvement.
Thank you very much, guys. Great cast on the day. I'm joined by Lot. Great game from you, from the whole team. I wanted to talk a little bit about your evolution as a player, from spring, from winter into summer. Are there any specifics that you've been deliberately working on and trying to improve to help the team as a whole?
Yeah, I mean, when I first joined, I was kind of like a fresh rookie. I was playing my own game, just focusing on my mechanics. But when the time goes, you're just like, okay, the game is actually difficult. You need to learn so many things. And when you start learning, you're going down as an individual level and a team level. So I just keep working, and I'm just hoping I get better.
I mean, you're definitely, in my opinion at least, which is, you know, low master opinion, you're definitely getting a lot better.
Thank you.
In the evolution from spring to summer as a team, is there anything that you feel you've given to the team or pushed the team to do that perhaps the other players haven't been looking at as much?
I think the confidence. As a top lane, I'm kind of like a confidence part of the job, maybe. I'm just going and playing with the confidence and trying to imply that just beat whoever comes to you, just don't care the opponent, just close the names and just go in. So I think on this part, I help them a lot.
Yeah, we heard you screaming in the middle of the team fights as well. Is there it feels like sometimes there's a disparity between what it is to be a top lane during the laning phase and then what it is to be a top laner during team fights. Because like a lot of the early game, you were kind of just off to your own devices, down in bot lane, taking a tower, making sure that you get gold. How do you match those two as a player? Because sometimes you do just need to funnel yourself in the early game so that you can have that impact later.
Yeah, I mean, for example, the first game, with Zambisa, I TP'd. It was a kind of bad TP, but like, as a top lane in the meta right now, you just kind of try to help your team as much as possible. I think right now, top lane is not great. You're just, the game is kind of for default, and you're just trying to help your team to get objectives, grow them as a, like, better resources, better carriers. So like as a top lane, you cannot carry that much of the games, but if enemy gives you a free gold, you take it. For example, when they TP in the own game, I just, just give, I just take gold, and I'll have 3 items. Earlier than event, I can carry.
Also relies a lot on trusting your team. We talked to Jackie's a little bit as we came back for game 2, and he was saying the team seems to be much more on the same page now. It's, if we're going to be aggressive, we're all going for the same call, even if perhaps the call isn't the ideal one. Do you feel that same change within the team over the break?
Yeah, I mean, it's for sure, because right now, as a team, even if we make a bad call, we are just trying to do it as a team. So if we are together, as long as we can just do anything. So our main plan is to just be together.
That makes a lot of sense. Just quickly before we hand it over to PGL, the rest of the teams in your group, obviously losing to KC yesterday in what was a very close, hard-fought series, today beating Vitality, you've got Na'Vi and MKOI left. What are your expectations for the group stage, the next two series that you have to play?
I think I want to play tiebreak for second place and first place. So we will look to win our other matches. And I just want to win every match. Whatever comes, I would just want to win.
If you're playing a tiebreak, is it against KC or MKOI?
I don't care, but both.
Oh? You think you can take either of them?
Yeah.
Oh.
I think KC played really well, but it was kind of feeling off. Maybe it was our first stage game that was feeling off after a long break. So like, if we play in our best conditions, I think it can be a good and fun match.
Amazing. Great to hear, man. We all love close League of Legends. It's good to see you guys evolving on the stage as well. Thank you so much for joining us. This has been the Marriott Bonvoy post-game check-in. We're going to hand it over to the Spirit Blossom Springs for PGL.
You have ideas for the minimap for sponsors? What should we add actually? KitKat on Nash, got it, we'll do that next time. But in the meantime, welcome to the post-game lobby with me, Gilotto, and Jack Spectra. How are you doing, Gilotto?
I'm doing good.
Yeah?
Happy. This format is very punishing, so getting a win relaxes us a lot.
Yeah, convincing enough win, given the Scream gods that